Welcome back, movie nerds, to the Movie Nerd James YouTube channel for a new episode segment for the celebration of the 98th Academy Awards. So, he's been on the podcast many of times, but this is your first Oscar-winning picks podcast episode that we've ever done with you, Chad. And Chad Eversole, all the way from Florida. What's up, man?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize that was the case, but it absolutely is. I haven't put together a list for the Oscars yet, so it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, and then this will be her 10th time that she's ever done this with me, and that is Jessica, your 10th time of the Oscar picks. Hello.
Hello.
And if those last names sound familiar, that is actually my uncle and my wife. So it's a big family get-together celebrating the 98th Academy Awards. So when it comes to the Academy Awards, there's a lot of stuff that comes, a lot of baggage is like what I like to call it and stuff like that. So I'll get this boring stuff out of the way. I hear it all the time. I break it down every single year I do the Oscars. And here we go again. I hear it all the time. People say the Oscars don't matter. And to a certain point, it doesn't matter if that movie doesn't win awards. I still love that movie and all that stuff. That is 100% true. And to a certain point, the Oscars don't matter in that kind of like that angle. I'll say that. But yeah, if it's your favorite film, nothing is going to change that. And I've always said in my previous podcast episodes and everything else is I take it to a sports analogy. Is I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan. Okay, we'll take it to a football thing. It doesn't matter how much the Colts suck or how good they are. They will always be my favorite football team and all that stuff. But it would be awesome to see them win a Super Bowl. So, all that stuff. So, that's how I say with the Oscars and stuff like that. It doesn't matter if, it's your favorite film. Nothing's going to change that and stuff like that. It doesn't matter if it gets awards or if it does get awards. But it would be awesome to see it win a Super Bowl. So, that's how I say it. And then, of course, the most important factor of the Oscars and what it's supposed to be is the celebration of film. I think a lot of people don't understand too. Winning an Oscar can be very career changing if you work in the actual field. If you're a cinematographer, you're a production designer and stuff like that. Even people to the point that Denis Villeneuve, he made a short film that got nominated for an Oscar. And look, he's one of the greatest working filmmakers working today, and maybe of all time and stuff like that. So it can be very career changing. And then also too, the thing I love about the Oscars is, yes, you have your mainstream movies, and there is mainstream movies that are in these Oscars that we're getting ready to talk about in the previous Oscar and Academy Awards that have happened. But this is a night that actually gives the spotlight to films that nobody's ever heard of. And my favorite one is always, I've had somebody at work say, I've seen the Oscars things, I haven't heard of any of these films. And I'm just like, cool, now you have. Go check them out and all that stuff. And I hear people say all the time is Hollywood only makes, they only make remakes and sequels and things like that. There's originals and hundreds of original films that are made around the world every single year. You just got to seek them out. And right in front of you, there's an incredible lineup of original films that come out every single year. And I love that the Academy gives a spotlight to those films. And then, of course, I always tell people too is, they talk about, these movies, movies suck. They're too artsy fancy. I always say, humble yourself. Go grab a camera. Go out there and shoot something and edit it together and see how hard it is to make filmmaking. I love the art form, and I just love that they come together and celebrate film. That's what the Oscars are supposed to be about, and I love that. So, and the other last couple things here. All right, back in 2016, there was a movie called The Suicide Squad. And it won an Oscar for hair and makeup. It is a Oscar, technically called an Oscar-winning film. The movie's not that good, and a lot of people are like, "Well, wait a minute, Suicide Squad sucked. Why? How did it win an Oscar?" But I try to explain to people there's technical fields that are broke up into the Academy Awards, and they're in their own separate technical fields, is what I like to call it. The only technical field that it breaks down the overall film, I would say, is Best International Film. That's the overall film. Best Picture, and I would even say Best Director and stuff like that. That's when you're judging the whole overall film. But the Academy breaks it up in different technical fields. So if you see that, you have cinematography, production design, and stuff like that. Know that they're not talking about the overall film, because it may not be very good, but they're also, it's the technicalities of those films that they're breaking down, and that's why you see, for example, in 2016, a movie that's not very good, but it still won in a technical field for an Academy Award and stuff like that. So hopefully that made sense. And before we get into it, don't feel personally attacked. This is just for fun, guys. I love celebrating film. It's so much fun, you know, to sit back and do your choices and stuff like that. But good Lord, just like put your pitchforks away. Don't pull out your knives to stab somebody because they didn't pick a film that you didn't like. Because that's what I love about film. It's all subjective. Everybody has their own corner in the cinematic universe, and that's what I love about film and love about doing this channel and stuff like that. But so with all that boring stuff out of the way, so here we are. We're actually at the 98th Academy Awards. It's kind of crazy because we're two shows away from celebrating the 100 years of the Academy Awards. So I will say right off the bat, I want to get your guys' feedback. So, what you guys think of the nominations? Not just don't break it down because we're going to do that technicality and details here in a minute. But what you guys think of the overall like nominations this year? Were you happy with it? Were you kind of shocked? What'd you think of it?
Happy to see Sinners get nominated for so many awards.
Yep.
Yep. Agreed. And one nice thing, and I'll just piggyback a little bit on what you were just saying about. You know, these different categories and stuff. You'll see movies that are nominated for just a category that, you know, you've never heard of. And once again, it just gives you a chance to kind of learn more about those movies, which is great. And there's one in particular that I learned a little bit more about that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I thought overall just very good. I went through and looked at movies that came out, you know, for 2025 and just thought, you know, is there anything else that deserves to be in these categories? Maybe a couple snubs here and there, but pretty solid overall.
Yeah, and you were cranking the past week. It's funny because, you know, we talk almost every single day, so it was funny because you were just like, man, I just knocked out sentimental value, just knocked out this, all that stuff. So I just thought it was funny. But once again, that's a testament to what I just said before is like you see the list of movies and you're like, I've never even heard of this, and then you go check it out and you're like, oh, this is nominated for this in this certain category, I'm gonna go check that out. And then would you said you knocked out K-pop Demon Hunter, right?
I did, and then last night after Faith went to bed, I ended up watching Train Dreams on Netflix just to check it out, and man, that was a very good but a very, very sad movie. I was like, holy cow. But I definitely shouldn't have watched it right before bed. I had a hard time kind of winding back down after all the tragedy that, you know, that befell, you know, Robert. And but anyway, we'll talk about that as we go. But yeah, man, it definitely has been the most productive movie watching last 3 days I've had probably in my lifetime. So, but it was very cool. I really enjoyed trying to get caught up on as many as I could because I always hate going into these and not having seen or heard of a lot of the movies. So I just wanted to kind of be on, you know, close to the same level of movie, you know, viewing that you were at when we hit these times for the Oscars. So I just wanted to try to compete a little bit. Yeah,
and then I will say this is a very overall like a very huge improvement from last year. No disrespect to the nominees and stuff that happened last year, but I there was the less said of that Academy Awards, the better. There was some picks, and then also my rant about Dune Part 2 not only getting 2 Oscar nominations, and and Emily Perez and all that crazy. I don't know what happened last year, but yeah, this was very refreshing because last year was the only time I ever broke down the Oscars. I never did winner picks. I was just like, what is this? So, you know, and no disrespect to the nominees, and I was really happy for, you know, Sean Baker and Honora and things like that and all that stuff. But there were highlights in it and stuff like that. But overall, it's just like, what are we doing here? So, so it was definitely a huge improvement. And then, of course, my number one film of the year, and I'm going to assume probably your guys' as well, is big congratulations to Ryan Coogler and everybody involved in Sinners, making history with the record breaker of 16 Oscar nominations. And and we'll get to it in a minute why I possibly could see it of getting 17 Oscar nominations and stuff like that, but we'll get that in a little bit. But no, it's just incredible. It doesn't matter what you feel about the film and stuff like that. It's just so cool, depending on how long this lasts and stuff like that, of this record breaker of 16 nominations, how many years this lasts until the next film comes along or ties it or breaks it or stuff like that. But we're probably for a while now going to have sitting at the Oscar history of 16 nominations in this record breaker is an original horror film. is there. So it has its own stamp in history to be there, and it's just incredible. And congrats to Coogler and stuff like that, because like I said, I've said it all year. I think they've made something special, and to see that special, extra special aspect and detail that they have attached to the title, that titled movie, is really cool, and making it cementing itself in history is really cool at the Academy Awards. So
awesome. Yep.
But all right, so before we get into the categories, this is not out of disrespect. Like I said, it's just we haven't seen any. I got together with Jessica before this, and I got with Chad before this, and myself as well, is we just haven't seen any of these, so I think it would be like a disservice and very unfair if we're just picking something random and stuff like that. But the 4 categories that we will not be doing is animated short film, documentary featured film, documentary short film, and live action short film. And once again, that's no disrespect to those categories. It's just I think it'd be unfair to the categories if we're just picking something random and it's like a shot in the dark and we have no idea, all that stuff and everything. But congratulations to those nominees and stuff like that. But we that's the 4 categories we will not be breaking down. But as we get into breaking down the categories, we will break down the category first. And then we will give our snubs, surprises, swaps, glad to see, etc., all that stuff. And then we will give our personal picks, followed by who we think the Academy is going to pick. And before we get into this first category, the 98th Academy Awards takes place on March 15th, 2026. So you have plenty of time to knock out these films. So hopefully you get them watched and everybody prepares and is there for March 15th for the 98th Academy Awards. So all right, you guys ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so let's go into our first category. The first category we will be doing that I wanted to knock out first is, and I'll give my reasons why, is Best Visual Effects. And the nominees this year were Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1, Jurassic World Rebirth, The Lost Bus, and Sinners. So, Jessica, I'll let you take it away. Any your reaction to the category and stuff like that? I see you shaking your head over Avatar.
Well, I know Avatar's going to win, but I want Sinners to win. And I hate Avatar. So I said it. And there we go. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. And Chad, your reaction to the category?
Yeah, that's a good take on it for sure. I don't know about like The Lost Bus being in there, Jurassic World being in there. I did get a chance to watch both of them, and Jurassic World, my note was more dinosaurs. And that's all I said. It's like, yeah, it's got dinosaurs in it. Lost Bus, while visually very cool and all the fire and kind of natural disaster stuff happening in it are beautiful. I mean, beautifully done. I think, personally, Formula One, F1 will win Best Visual Effects.
Oh, really? Cool.
No, in my opinion. Okay. But Avatar, Fire and Ash will definitely win, and it's a shame, to me, just because it's nothing new under the sun for Avatar. I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's the same movie we saw 4 years ago, whatever, when The Way of Water came out, and there's nothing other than better computing. I mean, it looks visually very, very good, and it's like I really want to see somebody pushing the technology a little bit more to show us something more. But it will win. Yeah. I don't doubt it at all. As much as I do love Sinners, I love the look of it. I love the practical effects and stuff in it. I wish it was a different category, practical effects versus just straight visual effects, because they're so different. Yeah. But Formula One, beautiful. I think it should win because it is just from start to finish, just visually, just amazing. But Avatar, Fire and Ash, will pull it out in the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, I had pushback about Sinners because I seen a couple people saying like, why is Sinners in here for visual effects? And I think the practical makeup of work supported by the visual effects that they did on Remick and all that stuff. And also, there is a video out there, and if anybody wants to message me about the visual effects, I'll send you a video that breaks down the visual effects done in Sinners. And there's so many seamless backdrops that are all special effects, and there's so many special effects in it that you wouldn't notice because it's so perfectly done. It's like it's flawless. It's like perfect how they made it look, and it's just like you wouldn't know those visual effects were there. That's just how damn good it is. And then also too, just alone for what they did with Michael B. Jordan and the twins, the special effects on that is just, it's groundbreaking. And that Halo rig, it's outstanding, and I think it's flawlessly executed. So I was really happy to see Sinners in there because it does deserve it. It's definitely one of the best of the five, and I really liked it. And then of course, if there was any films that were going to sneak in this category, I thought Mickey 17 could have possibly snuck in here, and then the other one was How to Train Your Dragon. That was another one I could have possibly seen sneaking in here. But
that's what I put in my technical and creative snubs, was one of them, and I thought that I thought Give Her Back should have at least gotten some type of a nod for the crazy.
The knife thing?
Oh no, I think we'll get to that in hair and makeup, because I think that's more of like a practical.
Oh, definitely. That's the thing though. But we're talking like beauty makeup though, right? I mean, we're talking like period piece stuff, that kind of makeup.
Yeah,
not visual effects makeup.
But no, I just so you went with F1, but you think the Academy's going with Avatar, and then Jessica, who you going with?
I want Sinners, but I think Academy's going with Avatar.
All right, and then I'm going with Avatar, because obviously we're talking about the visual effects, technical matter, and all that stuff. It was just it's just mind blowing what James Cameron and his crew achieved with that, especially in Way of Water, of how they did the special effects with water. Because if you watch these behind the scenes, they're in these mocap suits, and it's literally everything around them is 100% fake. It's just like they've literally created themselves. It's just insane. And then now they deal with fire and stuff like that to see that on screen. So I'm going with Avatar, Fire and Ashes, and I think the Academy as well is going to go with Fire and
I
Ashes.
agree.
Well.
I mean, I think it's one of those, for me, the category's tough because, like you just said, 100% of Avatar, Fire and Ashes visual effects, 100% of it. So to me, it's an animated movie. It's not, it belongs in best animated category because that's what it is. And I get mocap and all that stuff, but I'm sorry, but if you look at Sinners, Formula One, the effects become part of the real world of the movie. F1, those driving scenes and everything that happened, there's a lot of visual effects there that are just lost in the fact that it is so perfectly done.
Yeah.
It's so perfectly done. You're watching a visual effect in Avatar because we know 100% of it is CGI. But Sinners and F1, it was just seamlessly part of the storytelling of the movie.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really hard for me to give Avatar the nod on that. It's just so hard.
Yeah, what was it, years ago when they said the Lion King live action remake, when the only live action shot was the opening sunrise, and that was it. And just like everything else was just CGI. I was like, okay, whatever. So
I think they did that just on a technicality to make it a live action. It's like, you're not going to get into the live action category if there are no live action shots. So they threw that darn sunrise in there. And like, there it is. But anyways.
All right, going on to the next category, we're going into Best Sound, and the nominations for Best Sound this year were F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Sirat, or hopefully Sirat. Hopefully I said that right. Apologies if I didn't. But all right, I'll take this category away. As far as a film I definitely think deserves to be here, I haven't seen Sirat or Sirat, but I would actually put in, I think 1,000% deserves to be here is Warfare. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but the sound design in that is absolutely incredible. And I was actually kind of shocked because I was like, if there's any category that, of course, like hair and makeup, like the effects and the blood and all that stuff that they could possibly squeak in there, but it was definitely sound. I was like, it's a crucial part of that film and stuff like that, and I thought it was just so well done. But besides that, what do you think about the category, Jess?
I feel like I have a hard time differentiating between best sound and best music.
Yeah. I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you're going to notice a theme. Obviously, I'm rooting for Sinners, but I can see how that would be more of a music thing. So, I think that F1 is probably going to win. It seems like the Academy really likes, like, that kind of sound for this, as well as, like, warfare type sounds.
Yep.
So.
And,
yeah, think Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of a blockbuster, and so I did the same. I said F1. I think personally, I think it will win, and I think Academy-wise, I think it will win.
Yep.
So I just had both for the same one for both.
Yep, and then I'm also going with F1. I think it's going to win sound, and I did find out this year too that they got rid of sound mixing. So that was another thing too that I could possibly have seen Sinners getting 18 nominations, because I have another category that they could have possibly got a nomination in, but I'll get to that in a minute. But this was another one too. If they had sound mixing still this year, I think Sinners would have got in for that as well. But anyways, they combined sound mixing and best sound, so so it's one now. So I forgot to say that at the beginning, but no, I'm going with F1 as well, and I think the Academy is going to go with F1 as well. Like I said, it's the triggers, the special effects sound, or the sound effects on the tires and the whipping in the cars and all that stuff. It's just it's so well done. But I do say look out, because I could see if there was an upset. I don't think it's going to upset it, but is Frankenstein. I think there's a lot of well done, brutal special effects sounds and stuff like that, in that body parts being sawed.
Squishing sounds.
Yeah. So I would say look out. I could see Frankenstein being the upset in this category. So
I wouldn't be upset.
Yep. So I'll say happy upset. Yeah, there we go. So, but
all
right. So moving on for best sound, we're going into best production design, and the nominations for best production design this year were Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. So I'll let you take this away, Chad. Would you break down the category real quick before you give your pick? Any highlights or anything you wanted to break down the category?
Let me think. I don't think I had anything for like upsets or snubs or anything for production design. Although I think I've been okay if like How to Train Your Dragon popped in there, something like that. But and maybe Mickey 17. I love the look of Mickey 17. And then Phoenician Scheme, just because I'm a Wes Anderson fan. You know, I always loved the look of his movies, and for me that maybe. Just a personal Chad snub, not having Wes Anderson in for production design. But so that's my maybe some snubs, but not really. So I will say for the first time I'm picking Sinners, even though it's already been nominated for two other categories. But I really think best production design was Sinners. I saw Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners. I didn't get to see Marty Supreme or Hamnet, so I am missing a couple key cogs here. But I'm going to go Sinners, and I think in an upset, Frankenstein could win. I mean, the Academy could pick Frankenstein, but I'm going to stick with Sinners. It was beautiful, and it's my pick for best production design.
Yep. All right, Jess.
I'm going with Frankenstein on this one, and I do think it will win, just because like Guillermo del Toro always has like that look.
Yeah.
Like it's so detailed, and like it goes in with like the costume design and everything. It's just really pretty.
Yep. Before I get my pick, I do agree. I think How to Train Your Dragon could have possibly got in. This was a category too that I was like, that could have probably sneaked in. And also, I think this was a category too that I was rooting for, that possibly the 28 Years Later could get in for the Bone Temple, and then of course making the Holy Island and things like that. I just now I know they used a lot of natural landscapes and stuff like that, but the broke down bus stations, the broke down gas stations, things like that. It's to make that so apocalyptic, it's very hard to pull off, and then show that there was some kind of like humanity touching those areas, and then how it's just deteriorated over time. That's very hard to pull off. So I would like to have seen 28 Years Later sneak in there. But out of the nominees, I'm actually going with Frankenstein as well. I think with the just alone, besides Guillermo del Toro and his magnificent set pieces that he does in his films is the ship in that movie is 1-1. It is they've literally built that ship. So it's a 1-to-1 scale of an actual ship, and it's just like literally it exists. So it's just like it's absolutely incredible, and I just that alone I think is just unmatched to win production design. But like I said, we'll see what happens. I don't think there's any upsets. I do. I could possibly see one battle after another because I meant to look into that, but the final scene that somebody I forget who told me, but they possibly. Built that road like it was that road didn't exist and stuff like that, and it was on a $90 million budget, so I could see that you could put a couple you know not more than a couple, but you could put some millions of dollars into making an actual road in the desert and stuff like that. So so yeah, that's I don't think it'll upset at all. I think Frankenstein's got it, and then of course I think the Academy is going to go with Frankenstein as well.
I think so. And then you mentioned something that made me kind of think about something else. But, they added a new category for casting, which I thought was a really cool idea. In this case, what I think, talking about production design, you're talking about set pieces. There's such a difference between the volume or green screen, blue screen set pieces and, real world set pieces like you mentioned in 28 Years Later. I think a nice technical category would be like scouting, like looking for sets and trying to find like real world stuff to use, because that's tough, know. And when you can just blue or green screen everything, that's one thing, but finding those real world set pieces and turning those into parts of your movie is an art in itself. And I think it's probably part of production design, but I mean, calling people out for being able to, to find those hidden gems in the real world would be pretty cool.
Yeah, location scouting. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be neat? Yeah.
So, but all right, moving on from production design, we're going to a best original song, and the nominations this year were "Dear Me" from what movie is this from? Diane Warren, Relentless. We have "Golden" from K-pop Demon Hunter. "I Lied to You" from Sinners. "Sweet Dreams" from Viva Verde. And then we have Train Dreams from the movie Train Dreams. So, all right, is it me? All right, so if there was a song I think that I could have got in here, and this is going to go into my 18th Oscar nomination that could possibly went to Sinners. If sound mixing didn't get put into sound, then also here we are with original song. I actually think Sinners could have possibly got 2 nominations here, and I think the other song was Last Time I Seen the Sun, and that was the final song with... at the end of the film. And I always say every single year, and Jessica knows I say it every year too, a best original song. I think original song is how it affected or elevated the film.
Yep.
I don't like it when they do an original song and then it plays during the credits.
Yep.
It's just like, that's it. And I hate that. I think original song should base it off how did this elevate my movie. And
absolutely.
I think that is. And it's the same thing too. Last Time I Seen the Sun. That is a powerful song to end that movie on and stuff like that. And it goes right into the story. Last Time I Saw the Sun, and I won't give what context that means if you haven't seen Sinners and stuff like that. But it's just so powerful. I guess I think that should have got in for it. Now, I think I Lied to You is my pick to win the thing. I think that when that song hits in that film, it just takes it off into a different universe. I felt my DNA physically being changed when I seen that scene, and I Lied to You is my pick or whatever, but I do think the Academy is probably going to go with Golden from K-pop Demon Hunter, and but man, I want I Lied to You to win so bad because that song just rocks, man. And then once again, how did it affect your film? It definitely affects Sinners because the scene is absolutely bonkers good. So Jess, who are you going with?
I'm also going with I Lied to You, and I think the Academy's going to pick it. If it goes to K-pop Demon Hunters, I'm actually going to crash out. It's going to be ugly. Just because, I Lied to You, I feel like when I saw that scene in the movie for the first time, I had, literal goosebumps. Mind-blowing, so good. And, Sinners, I feel like the biggest, I don't even know, Sinners as a whole is, perfect movie, in my opinion. But, a big part of what makes a perfect movie to me is the music. And like the music in Sinners is just really that good. It's like its own character in the movie.
Yeah, and then I'm trying not to speak out of context because I haven't seen K-pop Demon Hunter, and I'm gonna hit you with the same.
I've seen it.
I know, but I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you with the same question, Chad. When I get to you, well, the same question to you, if you want to answer it as well, is you've seen K-pop Demon Hunter?
Yeah.
How does the Golden Song affect that movie? Do you think it's better than Sinners, or do you think
It's not better than
Okay,
Sinners.
all right.
But there are a lot of like good original songs in K-pop Demon
Yeah.
Hunters. That's just the like number one in the movie.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm not like shitting on the movie. I just
Yeah,
don't think it's
exactly.
as good as Sinners.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I don't mean it disrespectful. I think what's that core punch in the movie what that song does and stuff like that, because we talked about years ago back in 2022 is when not to for RRR. Dude,
Yeah.
it blows your mind. You're just like
blows you away.
yeah,
Oh, it's
you're just like, and it elevates that scene. And then same thing with I'm Just Ken, you know, when that song in Barbie and stuff like that,
That's so
it just
funny.
explodes and stuff like that. So I just think, how does the song affect the movie? Now, and once again, if original song comes out and it's like, oh, we're just gonna play it during the credits and stuff like that, we're good to go. But yeah, so Chad, your thoughts?
Yeah, and just think about like Billie Eilish, you know, a couple like James Bond, you know, intro songs. Adele did a James Bond intro song, and they're great, and they set the tone for the movie. But then that's it, you know. And you look at K-pop Demon Hunter. K-pop is for music. I mean, it's a genre of music, K-pop, and I know because if you can see behind me, I got BTS stuff everywhere here from Faith. It's all, you know, that's the whole thing. You know, if you go into K-pop Demon Hunter and not thinking you're going to see a bunch of K-pop performances, then sorry, buddy, you're sorely mistaken. But in this case, you know, Sinners with their original music that elevates the movie to just that next stratosphere of great movies, and it's not gratuitous in any way. It's very mindful of this is going to move this scene to a place that it wasn't before, and it just, you can't say enough good things about Ludwig and what he put together. This music for this is, for me, 2025, it's the best soundtrack, you know, period, you know, for the year. And I think it's going to stand the test of time as one of the best musical scores of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't done score, we're talking original song, but it's because these original songs are amazing. And I think it should have been more than one song in here nominated for Sinners because they're so good. But obviously, I Lied to You is my pick because it is just fantastic. It is, especially in the scene, it just goosebumps, definitely. And then I had folks who aren't really like cinephiles that saw the movie that called me after seeing it, and they were like, man, that scene in Sinners, you know, in the juke joint when they're doing I Lied to Me, it's like, and they were like, man, it gave me, you know, goosebumps watching it. And these are people that, you know, these aren't their kind of movies, but they happened to go and had nothing else to watch. They watched it, and they're telling me like, man, that was so powerful. And it just goes to show you. I mean, it's funny because that scene talks about, you know, how you span these different time periods, you know, with the dancing and stuff like that. But take folks who aren't really into movies and folks who are and kind of bring them together. You know, talking about it was kind of cool. So, you know, I'm going with I Lied to You. I think just because of its popularity and the way it blew up, I think Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters will probably win it. But to me, it doesn't deserve to. It should be I Lied to You.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And there are a lot of, like Jess said, there are a ton of really good K-pop Demon Hunter songs in there. But, you know, it is them performing the songs basically like a music video each time. It's not, you know, it's not in the fabric of the movie. It is part of the movie. But all the songs in Sinners, they make that movie special.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep, and all right, so going on from Best Original Song, we are going into Best Original Score. And the nominees for Best Original Score this year were Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. And Chad, I think it's rotation-wise, I think it's on to you. So any thoughts on the category, and then who you going with?
Yeah, I mean, a good category. Other than Hamnet, not seeing it, but I think the other ones, the scores were very good. I'm going with Sinners, of course, after my big tirade just from a few minutes ago from about Sinners. I'm going to have to go with it, but I could see them maybe going with Begonia just for whatever reason, but I really think it should be Sinners. Full stop, end of story. Go with Sinners.
Yep. And then Jessica?
Also going with Sinners after that big long tirade we went on. But the thing is, I feel like Sinners kind of goes down as one of those movies to me where it's extra special, where you could just listen to the soundtrack and
yep.
you know that it's that good. It's there's other soundtracks out there that are like that. I would say the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack. You can listen to it and you immediately know.
Yeah. Yeah, the I don't think they expect the movie to be as big as it was, because we talked about too how much it made me so mad is the movie came out back in March, and I didn't get the original soundtrack vinyl and CD until October. So I just don't think they expected the movie to be that big, and then they were like, well, we need to release the score thing and then all that stuff, because usually a vinyl or an original soundtrack comes out before the movie even releases. So it's
so special. It's so twangy and I don't know. I don't know how I would describe it, but it's very special what they did with the score.
Yeah.
Well, we also know that Ludwig, a lot of talking about production, a lot of times with music, it's not ready for the show. It's not ready for the movie.
Yeah.
But they wanted to have all these songs actually playing and ready, and they wanted, wanted them to be listening to them during the scenes and all that stuff. And that makes it, that really changes it too, So, so them still working on it up to the actual release of the movie tells you that they put a lot of heart and soul into it, obviously, but that's why you didn't get your DVD for a few months. Your CD for a few months.
Yeah, what was it like? I've heard of actors like Cate Blanchett. I think when she did Tar, she got some demo music of the actual score to get her in the mode or whatever, and all that stuff. But yeah, I've never seen they wanted the songs completed before they actually shot the scene. So Ludwig, was doing extra time on that stuff. So as far as the overall category, I'm very happy to see Begonia here, because I said that too. That is a very underrated, not just a very underrated music score, and then to see the Academy recognize that, I was so happy, because it's very good. And that was Driskin Fentrix who did that. Hopefully I said that name right, but I was extremely happy to see Begonia here. Frankenstein makes total sense, because Alexander Desplat and Guillermo del Toro, they just make epic work. Hamnet makes sense, and then One Battle After Another totally makes sense. The only problem I have with this is, where the hell is Marty Supreme? That score by Daniel Lopatin is so good. It is an 80s vibe, but obviously the film takes place in the 50s, but he brings this really awesome 80s vibes freaking music score. I'm shocked that it's not one of the 5. It's honestly very shocking that it's not one of the 5. I don't think it's going to win, but I think it should be definitely one of the 5. I don't know who I take out. Maybe I take out One Battle After Another and put in Marty Supreme, but I think Marty Supreme definitely deserves to be here. That music score is so good. But no, as far as going my pick, obviously I'm going with Sinners. I walked out of Sinners. I'm just oh, well, he made Oppenheimer, and you don't get any better than that. And then this one just made Oppenheimer look like child work, and I love Oppenheimer's music score.
He's so talented.
And it was like a shotgun blast. It was just blew me away. And Ludwig, and I never found this out too. I reached out to a couple people at Rangers of the Lost podcast and the Revisionist Almanac and all those guys. As I don't know if anybody's ever won as a composer has ever won back-to-back Oscars, because Ludwig won last year for Oppenheimer.
He's pretty young, isn't he?
Yeah. And
he's amazingly talented.
Yeah, and I think he's the next John Williams or Hans Zimmer or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And he's the next Ludwig is basically how I say it. And he's a special kind of composer, and I can't wait to see what he does with the Odyssey. But anyways, focused on the the category, I am going with Ludwig for Sinners, and I think he's going to be a back-to-back Oscar winner. And I think the Academy is going to go with Sinners as well for Ludwig. If any could possibly sneak in and be the upset, I could possibly see Hamnet. I could definitely see that. A very, very good score and stuff like that. So, but is it better than the Sinners? No. But if there was an upset, I could possibly see that. But I do think the Academy is going with Sinners, and all of us are going with Sinners as well. So, but all right, moving on from Best Original Score, we are going into Best Makeup and Hairstyling. And the nominees this year were Frankenstein, Kokuho?
Kokuho.
Hopefully I said that right. Sinners, The Smashing Machine, and The Ugly Stepsister. So how's the rotation? Is it you, Jess, or me?
I guess so. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like we have to, think about hair and makeup also as, special effects makeup.
Yeah.
So, I'm going Frankenstein on this, but it's 49-51. So, I would say Sinners is a very close second. But, I mean, just, the hours of putting Jacob Elordi in that Frankenstein fit. That is a lot of hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Every single day. So,
yeah,
that was my kind of decision-making thought on that.
Yeah. All right, Chad?
Yeah, man, this is definitely one of my hardest categories to pick for, being I'd say a student of, makeup and special effects makeup stuff, for almost 50 years of my life. It was very difficult because they look at it in a couple ways. You look at it from the, like Gus was saying, from a horror movie standpoint and the time and energy it takes to do a remake or to do Frankenstein's monster. It's so different. I look at Ugly Stepsister, which I did finish that up yesterday, thankfully, and my gosh, it was so good, so much effects going on, makeup stuff, the hairstyling was so good. But then I also watched A Smashing Machine a couple days ago, and it's such a subtle makeup effects that makes it really, really hard. So for me, I love Sinners, I love Remick, I love the vampire makeup stuff. I think that The Smashing Machine is probably my subtle makeup effect winner. It's another, it goes back to production design. It's you don't notice the makeup. I know that Remick is a vampire and he's got vampire makeup on. I know it. I know Frankenstein's monster it took him 10 hours to get into his makeup. He has makeup on. I know it. He's a monster. But The Rock in Smashing Machine with that makeup on to look like Mark Kerr, I was like, holy crap, that is some good makeup. So I'm going to go with The Smashing Machine, my personal preference, but I think Frankenstein will win.
Okay.
And a close tie for Smashing Machine, Ugly Stepsister, because it was just fantastic gore makeup. Awesome. Yeah. Sorry, that was a totally jumbled up category for me. Sorry about that, but it's just hard because there's a lot of really good stuff. And if I saw Kokuho, because it's all kabuki makeup stuff, period stuff, I think it probably would be up there too. But I've only seen trailers for it, and I'm not going to go there. And I love Sinners. It's a wash in this one, man. Sorry, I don't know what to say about it. It's too tough for me.
Yeah,
those contacts I used for Sinners were freaking sweet too.
And they're practical.
Exactly.
Stuff
Yeah, a little R&D there to make those cool contacts. See, I mean, it's another category for me. It's special effects makeup versus makeup and hairstyling.
Yeah.
So
it's hard.
Yeah, and before I give my picks or whatever, or break down the category, if there once again, this is a very stacked cast. From a personal angle on us, because we love special effect makeup and all that stuff, and makeup and hairstyling is there was 3 films that I could possibly see sneaking in here, and that was Marty Supreme. It was a funny story that Gwyneth Paltrow was telling Timothy, I have a skincare routine that your acne and stuff like that. It's like really
Yeah, that's
bad. It's
right.
like I have like skincare line that I can help you out. He's like, no, this is special effect makeup and stuff like that. So it was so seamless that even Gwyneth Paltrow thought it was like real acne and stuff like that. And then transformed all his characters back in that day, but it was really cool. And then the other one was 28 years later, the infected, how you can take years of decaying of the skin and the special effect makeup, the contact lenses, all that stuff. It's just, I thought that was like fantastically done. And then, of course, you got to it a little bit before, was Bring Her Back. How they showed that vessel is deteriorating, that demon being inside that kid, the vessel is just slowly deteriorating away and bloated, and then the contact lenses, it's some incredible stuff that they pulled off in that. But as far as the category, I was very, very happy, and I expressed my how incredibly happy I was, and there's a couple categories I thought it could have got in as well, but focus on hair and makeup, I was really happy to see the ugly stepsister in this. I was like, I was over the moon, because it's the makeup effects and also just the makeup in general and how gorgeous that film is. It's absolutely gorgeous, and of course the crazy hairstyles that they used in that, and it's awesome. Obviously I was very happy. Mike Fontaine, I expressed our love when we did our 4-hour breakdown review of Sinners, and talking about how Mike Fontaine and the special effects makeup done on that, and how he fuses everything together, the natural practical contact lenses, how he described with Remick is basically you're not adding anything to the vampire, you're actually removing and like digging away to reveal the monster underneath. It's just so well done. But I am going with Frankenstein. I think the one of like the different body parts that he's sawing up, the special effects they did a Lordy, and it's not his head, just his shoulders, just his arms. It's literally his entire body is all practical effect. It's like the prosthetics and everything they used on that is just insane. And then, of course, that even falls in line with the hair and makeup is, freaking Oscar Isaac looking like a stud in that movie. That hair is just incredible. And then
he looks very punchable.
Yeah. And then even the hairstyling falls into place for the Frankenstein monster. You see that when he first starts out, he's completely bald. He's innocent, pure, all that stuff. And then over time, he gets that awesome long hair. Yeah. It also reflects, the long hair that Oscar Isaac has. Also, at the same time, it's just like has that iconic Frankenstein look. So it's just really well done. So I'm going with Frankenstein, and I do think the Academy is going to go with Frankenstein as well. So.
And Mia Goth, I mean, she did the two character thing in there where. She looked completely unrecognizable as the one. I mean, it's so good. So yeah, mine says Frankenstein as well.
Yeah, and I think it was you that you didn't know that she was the mother too until like after the second time we watched it.
Well, yeah,
or was it somebody else?
It was more so like I was thinking he had mommy. Like I thought they were supposed to look very similar, but I didn't realize it was her twice.
Yeah. So
it was a great production thought, to do that very thing where he did have mommy issues, and that's. Help drinking the milk, and it's all like very Oedipus stuff going on there. But great. I could definitely see it, and I wouldn't be sad, even though I think it's a very stacked category. Frankenstein for the win. Yeah,
and if there was any upsets, I could possibly see the Smashing Machine or Sinners coming in there and stuff like that. I don't think it'll be an upset. I think Frankenstein's got it. But if there was any upsets, I could possibly see that as well. But all right, going on to the category that can literally make or break your film. It is a very important category and a very important and technical aspect of your film, and that is Best Film Editing. And the nominees for Best Film Editing this year were F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. And I think this is me, rotation-wise. I first off, the possible films that could have got into this category, because it is a very stacked category. Every single year, best film editing and stuff like that. It's very, very hard and very underrated aspect about a film that a lot of people don't talk about, because like I said, this can either make or break your film and stuff like that. And you hear the stories of so many cuts that they do to films and stuff like that, and how much you have to cut out, and how does the movie, is your movie still your movie? Is it still saying the same messages and stuff like that? I just wish people would like look into film editing more, because it is very crucial to the film. The other films I think that could possibly have got in, and well deservedly could have got in, was Hamnet. I was actually kind of shocked that that wasn't in here, but I could see Hamnet could have snuck in there. It was just an accident. Could definitely have been in here, because I think that is a perfectly edited film. And then, of course, I was kind of shocked to not see it in here, and hopefully people can see where I'm coming from, is Weapons. I'm actually how you coordinate those stories together and how they fuse together.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
I don't think
about that.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any. I don't think there's like any fat on that film. I think they trimmed it perfectly.
That's a very good example.
Yeah,
of good editing.
that was in my snubs for film editing too. It's hard to do that in a kind of trilogy kind of thing in a movie. You know, I think about Pulp Fiction and other movie even that he has done that kind of have that format. It's hard to do that right, and Weapons is a brilliant movie for that.
Yeah, and then
Weapons kind of got snubbed for a lot now that I kind of think about it.
Yeah, but it's horror, all that stuff. Now, granted, I was very happy because, like I said, I praise Sinners. It's an original horror film that's going to be there for the historical landmark now.
But now that I think about it, like effects wise and like makeup wise, that was very good.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
All you got was Amy Madigan, even though I thought Judah Gardner, I thought she definitely should have got a nom for actress. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, and hair and makeup and like how they did Benedict Wong and that all that craziness and stuff like that. But anyways, but as far as editing, I was very happy. But the 5 nominees make sense. It does because they are very good edited films. I was very happy to see Sentimental Value in here. I think that is a very well edited film. I know a lot of people are like, it's a very slow burn kind of grounded movie and stuff like that, but the emotional, just to keep that pace up with the emotional effects that has on that, and how you revolve around this family, and the historical, if that makes sense or whatever, the historical history of this family, it's very well done. I loved it. But there's only one film in here I think it was perfectly edited this year, and that would be Sinners. I think Sinners is the most perfect edit film of the year, because and also the trick of keeping the focus points of how interesting the movie is. And once again, I have a 4-hour breakdown with Chad that we did the Sinners and stuff like that, so just go watch that. I'll talk about the editing and stuff like that. But you're so focused on the story of the gangster and the smokestack twins and stuff like that, is you're 40 minutes in this thing, and then boom, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Sinners, boom, vampires. I'm like, oh crap, there's vampires in this thing. So it's just like, it's so well edited that you're just sucked in right from the beginning and stuff like that. So I don't think there's an ounce of fat on this film. I think it's perfectly edited. I think it's just like, it's a perfectly edited film. So I'm going Sinners, and I think the Academy is going to go with Sinners as well. So Jess?
So unsurprisingly, I'm going with Sinners too, but I think the thing that I keep in mind with this category is always like, was I bored at any time? Because that's usually a sign that you have some editing issues. So I would say absolutely not for Sinners. Like, there's just so much going on, but all of it comes together like perfectly, because you're telling so many stories at the same time.
Yeah. And
like it all perfectly flows. You're never bored. It is kind of a longer movie, but like it's all, you're never like, oh my god, how long is this movie? Yeah. Like that's that's the problem. I would say like it would be an upset. I do think One Battle After Another is also very well edited.
Yep.
But yeah, going to Sinners.
Yeah, and I forgot to say that when I was breaking down the categories. If there's a film I would pull out of this, and no disrespect because it's in the 5, so obviously a lot more other people think it should be here, is and I do think it should be here to a certain thing, but if there's flaws I had to pick out of these 5, it would definitely be F1. The problem I have with F1 is I think when it became the emotional moments, there were certain things with Brad Pitt's character that I'm like, oh, you could have edited this or actually put something here that was more emotionally hitting, but you missed the opportunity in that. But the same thing with Sinners, I think, is it has the opposite effect of that. It's every emotional one. It hit its mark and all that stuff. So there was emotional marks that I think that F1 missed. I could see them, this one being the odd man out and squeaking in one of the other films that I talked about. But of course, the action sequences and things like that, the editing is fantastic and all that stuff done in that. But there was emotional aspects I think they kind of missed the mark on. They hit some, but they missed some in other parts of that film and stuff like that I think you could have executed a lot better. So, but anyway, sorry, Chad.
No, that's a perfect way to put it, because I'm looking at the movies in this category. You go from, I'm going to say, as far as emotional goes, sentimental value, number one emotionally, because every scene is a gut punch. Like every single scene is a gut punch. And then you go to Formula One, which I don't think had much heart in it at all. I mean, honestly, I thought Brad, his kind of backstory for the character and stuff had a little bit of pulling for him. Like, okay, I get that. But you look at how the movie was made, and yeah, edited beautifully, no doubt about it. But you look at how the movie was made; it's mostly technical, it's mostly visual effects. You go to sentimental value, which is all people.
Yeah.
And then you got the in between. Like for me, just under sentimental value, as far as the motion goes, is Sinners, and so it has that perfect blend of you're never bored, the editing is perfect, the sound's perfect, the music's perfect, the visual effects are perfect, and so for me, it's hard to have emotion in something like Formula One because there's no emotion there. Yeah. It's like you win, you lose, whatever. Sentimental value is it makes you sad, it makes you think about your family and blah blah blah. Sinners is good versus evil, life and death, like spanning like history. It's there's so many opportunities to be more emotional in there. And then of course Ryan Coogler, because this is such a personal story for him, to get this thing made and working with Michael B. Jordan and the cast that he had in there. I mean, it's perfect. Yeah. I mean, it's just perfectly done, perfectly edited together. So I'm, the long story short is Sinners is my pick. Do I think that someone could make a case for, say Formula One as a better edited movie? Maybe, just because all the action sequences and stuff in there, it's 100% an action movie. Yeah. But it's got to be Sinners in my opinion.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, the emotional asset, that's the reason why I think Hamnet should have been in here. I think
I haven't seen that.
I think you take out F1. I think you put in Hamnet because there's a scene with Paul Mescal and stuff like that, and we'll get to him in a second. But it's just like it's, I don't think it's really a spoiler. That William Shakespeare's son passes away, but the way they edited that sequence, like, oh god, it's so good. And then of course the final act and how powerful and all that stuff. But I think Hamnet should have been in here. And no disrespect to F1, like I said, it is a great edited film and stuff like that. But out of the 5, I thought that should have been. But yeah, so you're going with Sinners all around. If there was an upset, I think I agree with Jessica. I think One Battle After Another could be the one that comes in there and sneaks in. So
it could. Yeah, it could.
Yeah, and Marty Supreme, that is controlled, crazy chaos. And that editing is rapid fire on that bad boy. So look out, because that could be also like sneaking there as well, because it is chaos from the opening minute to the final minute. So it's very well edited, like to the ping pong matches, to him on the run, to the freaking cop chases, bathtub falling through the floor. Like, it's just insane. So it's just so look out, because Marty Supreme could be a sleeper in there as well. So,
okay.
But cool. All right, so moving on from Best Film Editing, we're going to Best Costume Design. And the nominees for Best Costume Design were Avatar, Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sinners. Who is it? Is it me? All right, we'll go with me. Okay, so I'm going to say what everybody else said when I looked at this category, and I'm glad I'm not the only one who was blind and that wasn't blind to this. And shout out to Andrew Corns, who's the Revisionist Almanac. I reached out to him, and he completely maybe do a 180 and stuff like that on this, because I was like, what is Avatar Fire and Ash doing in costume design? So I was like, what? Like, because like I said, it's all mocap and, you know, all that stuff. So, and once again, like, this is why, you know, I reach out and I look for the answers and stuff like that. And thank you to Andrew, the Revision Almac, for, you know, making me, you know, a sigh, I wouldn't say a sigh of relief, but maybe take a deep breath. I'm like, okay, that makes sense and stuff like that. So, come to find out, is Avatar Fire and Ash, they physically make all the costumes in the film. They're all 100% physically made and stuff like that. And then they digitally scan them into the film. So, I'm okay with that, okay? I feel a little better about that. Now, granted, Fire and Ash is definitely not my pick to win costume design, but the nomination being there, that was just like, what? You know, all that. So, like, whoa, like, we gotta back up, like, we gotta talk about this and stuff like that. So, thank you to Andrew. Thank you so much and everything for getting that cleared up for me. But yeah, and once again, you can still have a problem with that, which is perfectly fine. But it made me feel a little better, because I was like, whoa, hold up. I thought it had to be physically a costume made and stuff like that. And they come to find out they actually do physically 100% make the costumes and stuff like that. So, thank you to Andrew once again and stuff like that. But as far as costume design of the nominees and stuff like that, I am going with Frankenstein. I think Kate Hawley, we talked about it in our review and stuff like that, and you were there too, is we all three talked about in the review, the costume design is absolutely gorgeous. It's so well done. I think just I call it the Guillermo del Toro epicness, like the opening scene with the mother, and you can see the red veil flapping in the wind. I think it's so well done. The costume designs and the vibrant colors that they pop on screen, supported by the gorgeous production design and stuff like that. It's just infused so well together, and that's what makes it so good. And I loved everything about it, and it's so dramatic, but I mean that in the best way possible and stuff like that. And then, of course, you have Frankenstein with his ragged, you know, looks and stuff like that, the shredded clothes, and then you have basically Oscar Isaac's Victor Frankenstein is like a rock star. So you see these red gloves and got this, like, you know, walk around and strut, looking good, man. So it was just costume design is off the hook, and I also think the Academy is going to go with Frankenstein as well. So Chad, who you going with?
Yeah, I picked Frankenstein. I really think it should be. So yeah, I went with Frankenstein, and I think that the Academy will pick that, but I could also see, even though I haven't seen it, but I think Hamnet, just because of another period piece that, you know, I'm sure is very accurate to the time and probably looks great. You know, I know you've seen it, and but I hope it's Frankenstein, so I'm just going to say Frankenstein.
Yeah, and before I get to Jess, too, I forgot to get my upset. If there's an upset in this category, on my personal end, I think it could be Sinners. Ruthie Carter, she just did absolutely fantastic in that, and the Italian gang to the Irish gang, have the separation of that, and then, of course, that Jim Crow South and how the clothes and everything looked at. If you have
But you're saying it right there, and that's and I'm just going to go on my soapbox real quick against Avatar: Fire and Ash, just because the whole point of a costume as it's worn is part of the performance.
Exactly, it's not a costume if it's not on anybody's body; it's a prop.
If it's not getting shredded, if it's not getting torn, if it's not looked at each day like, oh, we got to fix this because this happened during the shoot and blah blah blah, then it's not a costume, man. Sorry, it just isn't. So. Sorry, Avatar, Fire and Ash, you can design up in the computer the most beautiful costume that's ever been thought of, but if you don't put it into production and actually wear it every day on set, it's not a costume. Sorry, it just isn't.
Yeah, and then, and I guess too, once again, the last category as well, look out for Marty Supreme as well, having those 50s style clothing and stuff like that. It's like, look out, man, because that could possibly, because they even go to is it China or Japan where they go? But they go overseas to another country
for ping pong. So
yeah. So it's a very they even do the culture and wearing of the clothing and everything over there as well. So look out, because Marty Supreme could be another sleeper in that category. So
well, they did that in Smashing Machine as well. They were, since it was the '90s late 90s into 2000s when they were in Japan, and I was kind of checking everything out there. I mean, they did a great job. I mean, it is a very, very good movie. If you haven't caught Smashing Machine, it is worth a watch for sure. And Dwayne does a phenomenal job. It was good and heartbreaking, and Emily Blunt amazing in it as well.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking performances by both those guys.
Yep. And then Jessica, who you go with?
So, totally agree, Avatar. That does not count. That's stupid. That's like a prop at that point. Like, it's not being on a physical body. It's not a costume.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't have to accept that, but I just wanted to.
It's
like,
a technicality.
Yeah. So,
Exactly,
and like I said,
exactly.
like when Andrew explained that to me, it made me feel somewhat a little better, and I still don't think it should be in there, but
it should definitely win.
Yeah. It's like, I still don't think it should be in there, but once again, it made me feel like, because my eyebrow, I'm like, what is happening right now? Avatar, all that stuff. So, once again, thank you to Andrew for getting that straightened out for me. So,
and it should have they should take that out and put weapons in for what's her face's little jumpsuit. That's what I think should happen. Anyway,
Gladys.
I'm going with Frankenstein, just for all the reasons you already mentioned, like the period dresses meets like gothic iconic look that Guillermo del Toro does. I will say I really hated the little collars that they put on me at goth. Like I was like,
oh, you didn't like the blue and the stuff?
It's so bad, but I don't have, I can see what we're going here. It's just not my style.
Oh, are you talking about the headpieces?
Yeah, the head is so bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's that. It's not a bad look. It's just like, what are we doing here? I will say I would also be okay with Sinners, just because I do feel like it was actually important to the story, especially the way they use the costumes to differentiate between the twins. Yeah.
Agreed. The whole backstory behind those, like Italian versus, so it's like it's a cool nod. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like, it may not seem like a big deal, but it really is a big deal. Is a lot of thought process of like Ruthie Carter went into it as well, because you're going to get blood on this stuff. So how do you make that pop? Like, if you're wearing a very dark collar, how are you going to get it to visually pop on screen if you can't see the blood and stuff like that? So having that silk dress on Haley Steinfeld,
the pink dress,
and when it comes out and you get the collar, it's like it has blood on it. That does come into play with the design of the costume. So. And well done, Ruthie Carter is a legend. So she's
well done.
She's awesome.
Yes.
So, but all right. So all we got.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right. Going on to one of James's favorite categories every single year, and that is best cinematography. So here we go. So the nominees this year for best cinematography were Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. And I have a lot to say about this, so I'm going to let you take it away first, Chad. So what do you think? Right. And what do you think of the category, and what's your pick?
Well, other than not seeing Marty Supreme, I saw the others, and between Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and even Train Dreams, even though it was late last night when I was watching it, beautifully shot movies, beautifully shot. There's so many times, and I remember watching Sinners in the theater though, and just saying to myself, "Wow, what a beautiful shot that was!" And then watching it here with Faith, and she, not as invested as I am in it. She liked the movie, but she was like, "Man, this movie is shot really well. Like, it is a really neat shot. Like the way things were framed out and stuff." And we know about the formatting. Like it got wider and taller and did different things, to emphasize kind of how the movie was, progressing. So, great category. I'm going with Sinners just because I really think that it was the number one, but you can make an argument probably for any of them. So I'll let you do that.
Yep. And then,
I think Sinners, but I think the Academy may, in an upset, may pick Frankenstein. So that's what I'm going to say.
Yep.
And I have kind of the reverse of that thought. Like, so I went with Frankenstein, but I could also see them going with Sinners, because I think of, like, cinematography. I know it's, like, not really the technical way you would put it, but I think of it, it's like the vibes of the film. Like, just how it's shot and, like, the lighting and all that really does play into, like, how you perceive it.
Sure.
So, like, you could see Frankenstein, but with different cinematography, it would feel very different.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm going with Frankenstein, but I could see Sinners, especially, like, the scene with, like, the I Lied to You scene. Like, the way that is shot is so interesting. And, yeah.
Yeah, and...
the waters,
we said it when we did our review, too, is, like, Guillermo del Toro and his cinematography brings so much, that gothic beauty to it and everything, so it's just, it's so well done, but... All right, so who would you go with? I
went with Frankenstein, but I would also be happy with Sinners.
Okay, all right. And then, so before I give my pick and stuff like that and break down the category, I would take out maybe Marty Supreme or maybe One Battle After Another, even though I think they deservedly need to be there. This is why this category is so hard for me, because I'm just like, they all deserve to be there, but 1,000%, where is no other choice? Like, it makes no sense. That is some of the best cinematography you will ever see, ever. And it's just like, it's not just of the year, but it's just like ever. And I'll get to another category and give my rant there and stuff like that in more in depth, but I'm like, my God, like, the No Other Choice, and then now Decision to Leave and The Handmaiden and all that stuff is like, what does the man have to do to get a cinematography nomination here? So I just like, I just don't get it. But No Other Choice, I definitely think needs to be one that swapped in for one of. I don't know who you take out. I don't know who you take out. So, but I will say No Other Choice definitely deserves to be here in the final five. Hamnet was another one that I could possibly see him sneaking in there. And then 28 Years Later, I think could have possibly swept in there as well. And then, of course, The Ugly Stepsister. I think.
Oh yeah, good point. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautifully shot. I think the cinematography on that is so good, and it is just in your face, like, in the best way possible. But as far as the category, Frankenstein definitely deserves to be here. Marty Supreme, I like that being in here. One About Her After Other. It's very freaking. How Paul Thomas Anderson pulled off that freaking hill scene and all that stuff in the third act. It is amazing. I'm still breaking that down, the filmmaking essay. Sinners, obviously, and then Train Dreams as well. But I personally am going with Sinners. I think Autumn is going to make history. And I hope she makes history. She will be the first. This statistic is just crazy to me. But she would be the first woman to ever win Best Cinematography, to win the Oscar. That's insane.
Crazy.
98 Academy Awards in there, and a woman has never won for cinematography.
Crazy. Yeah,
it's just insane. So I think she's going to make history. I think it's going to go to Sinners, and rightfully so, because I think that is the best, shot of the selected few. Because No Other Choice is my number one of the year for cinematography, but Sinners was the number two. So I'm going with Sinners, but I think the Academy's going to go with Train Dreams, and
really,
I don't have any problem with that, because that is a gorgeously shot film.
It is beautiful. Yeah, I said I was tired last night watching it, but man, I could not stop watching. I said I got to see this, kind of how it ends, but beautifully done. Just man, like a master class in isolation cinematography. I mean, it just you felt every minute of him waiting for his family and being on the job and cutting logs and traveling back home. I mean, it was on the trains and stuff. It's just, that's so good. It'd be a hard movie to do, but they did a great job. Yeah, and then there was, I think it was the Raiders guys, or maybe it was Andrew that pointed this out, but is the shot, there was no lighting involved, no, Tuscan bulbs, no, anything to elevate the scene and stuff. It was just all 100% natural. And is the shot where why am I drawing a blank? From she played in Banshees of Inisherin. She's in it for like a short period of time. Yeah, the gal that Carrie Condon. Carrie Condon. Yeah. So there was a shot of Carrie Condon and Joel Edgerton. They're up in this. What do you call that? Like those. The tower for the fire rescue tower, whatever it is. Yeah.
So they're up in that tower and there's nothing elevated. That's all natural. So it's all natural light.
Wow.
There's nothing to improve that and stuff like that, and to just use the natural beauty of the world. So it's just like it's so well done. So yeah, I honestly can see the Academy going with Train Dreams, and it's again it's a gorgeously filmed. But I hope Autumn makes history with Sinners and stuff like that. And I also found out that she's going to be the cinematographer on Ryan Coogler's X-Files. So
I can't wait for that. I love me some X-Files.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. But yeah, that was it. That was the last one. All right, cool. All right, so going on from Best Cinematography, we're going into the category for the first time ever at the Academy Awards, and that is for Best Casting. And the nominees in Best Casting this year were Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners. And I'm going to take this away because I have a huge list. I just don't know how you do this because, you know, you can go by performances, which I totally agree with. It depends on what angle you come out with this, because I have a list of films I possibly could have gotten to this 5, and that is No Other Choice. I think Begonia could have gotten this 5. I think Weapons could have gotten to this 5. I think Black Bag could have gotten to this 5. I think Sentimental Value could have definitely gotten to this 5. And then I definitely think It Was Just an Accident could have gotten to this final 5. But out of the final 5 of Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Sinners, I haven't seen The Secret Agent because it's nowhere. It's not playing around me anywhere. It's on Amazon for pre-order that has no release date. It just drives freaking crazy, man. I'm just like, man, I want to watch these films. So studios got to do a better job of letting the actual natural audience, see this stuff. Because if they want more eyeballs in the Academy Awards, we got to do something to, make an Academy Awards package film thing that you can buy.
All right.
And so, something. I'm like, work on something. But anyway, sorry, rant out of the way. I haven't seen The Secret Agent, but if I'm basing casting, and once again, this is the first time they've ever done it, if I'm basing casting, it's every single performance. It's literally down from the leading performance all the way down to the smallest supporting performances. And I don't think there was a weak performance to be found in that film, and that is Sinners. I don't think there is a weak performance anywhere in that. I also think I don't think there's a weak performance in One Battle After Another either, and all that stuff. So Marty Supreme, I don't think there was a couple that you could be like, I could see some flaws there, but very well casted. Deserves to be in the 5. Hamnet, even all the way down to that little kid. I'm honestly kind of shocked that we'll get to supporting actor in a minute, but that is a stat class. But that little kid in that is incredible in that movie. So it's just like everybody all around there. Marty Supreme, Frankenstein. Wrong category. Hamnet. Totally agree with Marty Supreme. One Battle After Another, because I don't think One Battle After Another has one single bad performance in there. And then Sinners is the same way. There's not, down to Cornbread, down to the store owners, down to the dude getting shot in the ass, it's not a bad performance. It supports the movie and stuff like that. So, and once again, I can take that dude that got shot in the ass as a performance. It's like, how many people in the theater turned around and he was like, I was doing a lot better before you shot me in the ass or whatever, and everybody in the theater starts erupting. And that's a minor character that has one speaking line, and you're good to go. So it's I think that's my pick, but I do think the Academy is going to go with One Battle After Another. But Jessica, first time casting category, who you going with?
It's funny that you said that, but look at my either Sinners or One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Sinners, just because it's my favorite movie of the year, and there's just so many little moments that are minor characters, and plus Michael B. Jordan absolutely stomps everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah. Michael A. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Anyway, but yeah, I went with. I would go with either of those. Would be good. One Battle After Another is also a very well cast. I don't think there's any weak performances at all. And there's both of those have a very large cast, and they're both excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, Chad.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I picked Sinners just because there aren't really any down performances in it. Greatly cast, and we know that Michael B. Jordan wasn't the original pick for it. That Coogler had some other folks in mind. I think maybe Michael, but he didn't want to do them as twins. He was going to have another actor, blah blah blah. But in the end, it worked out for the best. Definitely, I think that was the way to go to show the difference between Smoke and Stack. Yeah, so kudos to them. And then maybe it'll get in as One Battle After Another just because it is such a stacked cast, and we see up and down our list that One Battle After Another being recognized for actors, actresses, supporting, etc. So that tells you that it's a good cast. So yeah, Sinners or the Academy, maybe more likely One Battle After Another, but I think either one could probably pull it out.
Yeah, I do think the One Battle After Another and Sinners are the 1-2 dog. That's the 1-2 punch right there. Is the battle for that award. But the sleeper to sneak in there, could be Hamnet. I think they could sneak in there and all that stuff. So don't look out for Hamnet, because I think it could sneak in there and get it. But all right, so moving on from Best Casting, we're going into Best International Feature, and the nominees this year were The Secret Agent, It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, Sirat, and the voice of Hind Rajab. So sorry if I butchered that. But all right, so I'll let you take that away, Chad.
Yeah, the only one I've seen was Sentimental Value, so it's a tough category for me. I know, like, The Secret Agent isn't available. I tried to get it, but it was on wait list basically. But I saw Sentimental Value. I had it in one of my best movies of the year. So I'm just going to go with it because I don't know any better. So Sentimental Value.
Yep, and like I said, I know there was a rant. I told you there was a rant coming, but here it comes. What does Park Chan-wook have to do? What does the man have to do? I'm like, Decisions to Leave now. I'm like, The Handmaiden. I'm like, it's no other choice, man. Like,
it's crazy.
It's not
People
only
don't
like
him. I don't know why. People don't. I
don't get it.
Chan-wook.
I'm like, dude, it's like, I don't get it. I'm just like, what does the man have to do to get it? So I don't know. So no other choice without explanation. I think it was the top contender to win this category, and it's not even nominated. So, but I digress. Well, I really don't digress. I'm really peed off about it because I just like all that stuff. So I don't know what the man has to do. I'm like, you got to make The Godfather? I don't know. What you got to do? So, but with the nominees that are listed and stuff like that, I'm actually going with It Was Just an Accident. If you haven't seen It's Just an Accident, you need to watch this film. It's insane. It's so good. I was literally, after I got done watching, I'm like, that movie was insane. But just like, I went and told my wife, I was like, oh my god. I'm like, that was insane. I was going to people at work that really aren't into movies like I am, and I was telling them that sounds crazy. I'm like, it was crazy. So It Was Just an Accident, I think, is my pick to win. And when we get to the director category, I'll tell you more reasons why too, how rebellious that film is and stuff like that, and really going against the system. It's really a well done, perfect film, and I'm totally happy with this. It's called a happy episode. We'll label it. It's I think they're going to go with the Academy is going to go with Sentimental Value. And I have no problem with that because I love that film. So, but also the sleeper. If we're going to talk about sleepers and categories, watch out for The Secret Agent. I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things about it. I want to watch it, but I can't freaking watch it. So, all that stuff. So, but look out for The Secret Agent, because like I said, I've heard nothing but great things, and it's been cleaning up circuits and stuff like that. So it could sneak in there. So be warned. But Jessica, who are you going with?
I haven't seen any of them, so I didn't vote.
Oh, you did vote?
I don't get an opinion.
So, but all right, moving on from international featured film, we are going into Best Animated Feature. All right, so dang, this is like kind of high up on the list. So, the Best Animated Feature Films nominations of the 5 were Arco, Elio, K-Pop Demon Hunter, Little Amelia or the Character of Rain, Zootopia 2. All right. So before I go to Jess to give her, was it just me, or is this kind of a weak category this year?
Yeah, it's a terrible category. And I think that Killer of Killers should have been in it.
Yeah. Killers, I said, I think that movie has flaws and stuff like that, but, seeing that the list that we have now, no disrespect, but
exactly.
It's like, Chainsaw Man, I could have possibly seen getting in there for animation feature.
Yeah, Demon Hunter's Infinity Castle Arc should have been in there. Yeah, I mean, talk about a beautifully created movie, man. If any of them, Demon Hunter Infinity Castle Arc was crazy. I mean, it is, oh my gosh, it's next level as far as animation goes. But it's a super weird category this year.
What was that? I'm sorry if I misspoken here. I thought it was like a India animation film, Neha 2 or something.
Yeah, the one that was on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
like a Netflix original. Yeah, it was like the number one movie for like 6 months.
Yeah, I'm like, where is that at? So I don't know. Like, maybe it didn't get submitted, or maybe it didn't have theatrical release. So I'll have to look into more details about it. But I just honestly felt, usually every year, I'm like, I feel, these are the best animation films and stuff like that. But or maybe it's just a weak year for animation film and stuff like that, because there's a lot of juggernauts in this category. Yeah. So I don't know. So, but
you look at like Demon Slayer. I mean, it made like $500 million at box office. It's like, so it's not like we just snuck in. It's, it doesn't make sense. Zootopia, I know what it made $1 billion or whatever. I get it, but honestly, we haven't even gone out to see Zootopia 2 yet.
Yeah, I mean, we liked it. Yeah,
it was
like,
cute.
Yeah, it was very good. But I was just like, I don't know. It was just, there was something weird about this category this year. I was just like, it doesn't have that powerful punch it usually has every year at the Academy. So, but oh well. But with that, Jessica, who are you going with?
K-pop Demon Hunters. It's like a phenomenon. All the kids love it. Evie's obsessed with it. I did watch it, and the ending, I was not expecting what it ended. It ended, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit. But I'm going with that one. I did also really like Zootopia 2, though, so I wouldn't be upset at that one. It was really cute.
Yeah, I like they have that.
I like the snake.
Yeah, snake was. I like the zebras.
The Zebros.
Dude, it's cool. And then, honestly, I want a little spin-off show, just them doing like a detective thing with the Zebros.
I bet you could get one on Disney.
I know. I was like, the Zebros. Anyways, that'd be fun. But no, I went with K-pop Demon Hunter because Jessica got to it as well. It's just a phenomenon of it sweeping everything. So, and. No disrespect to the other nominees and stuff like that, because I'm sure they're fantastic films, the ones I haven't seen. And I've seen Elio, I've seen Arco, I've seen Zootopia 2. I haven't seen A Little Amelia and The Character in the Rain. I want to check that out and stuff like that. But, it's if there's a juggernaut standout in the field, it's K-pop Demon Hunter, because I've heard just sweeping the thing. So, Chad?
Yep, everything you just said. Yep, that's exactly right. K-pop Demon Hunters, it's my pick. It'll be the Academy pick. I really like Elio. We went and saw that in the theater, and it was great. Super emotional. Hit all the buttons. But it's got to be K-pop Demon Hunter. As long as Demon Slayer Infinity Castle isn't on there, it's going to be K-pop Demon Hunter for me.
Yep, and then the Zootopia, where the Shining. Where the maze right there. I just sorry, it was too funny, but
I love that fox too.
Yeah, Fox cracks me. That was just made for Jason Bateman. Yeah. It's I don't know. Do they do any motion capture with the actors for those animals?
I've never seen them doing them. I've seen them in the studios to recording voices, but I've never seen them with the dots on or with the cameras on. But they do a good job making it look like Jason.
Yeah, because his like smirk smile and stuff like that. I'm like, that's Jason Bateman all day. So
he's brilliant.
Yeah. So, but all right, moving on for animated feature, we're going into best original screenplay, and wow. So best original screenplay. We have Blue Moon. We have It Was Just an Accident. We have Marty Supreme. We have Sentimental Value, and we have Sinners. So, is it me? You? I'll let you take it away, Chad. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll take it away. For me, I'm going to go with Sinners, just because I really think it was the best movie of the year. So I'm going to chalk it up to that. But not having seen the others, I'm just going to say that I wouldn't be surprised if Sentimental Value won, just because it is such a well written movie. So I wouldn't hate it, but I'm going with Sinners, and then since I haven't seen the others, I'll let you guys take it from there.
Yeah, and sorry if you guys are hearing meowing in the background. We have a cat that is protesting about, I have no idea, because he has food and everything else. So know that we're not torturing our cat.
He has lack of attention.
Yeah, lack of attention. He just meows his head off. So if you heard it throughout the podcast, he's like, we don't torture our cat. He literally has a bowl full of food, water. He's literally
but
like,
he's not getting petted.
He's like, you're not petting me, stuff. So he's protesting. So everybody's like, what the crap is that sound in the background? So anyway, sorry about that. But as far as original screenplay, go ahead, Jess. Sorry.
Obviously, Sinners.
Okay.
Like, it's my favorite movie of the year, and like, it's so original. Like, it's like those characters are so well rounded, and then obviously we talked about it a little bit earlier. It's like you're like 40 minutes into the movie, and you're like totally fully invested, and you kind of forgot it was like a horror movie.
Yeah, it. Before I get my winner picks and breaking down the 5, if there was one film, I think you definitely need to pull a film out. I don't know if it's Blue Moon. Possibly it's maybe Blue Moon, because I like Blue Moon, but I didn't think it was going to get it for original or whatever. But because I wouldn't pull Marty, I wouldn't pull Sentimental Value, I wouldn't pull Just Accident, and I definitely ain't pulling Sinners. But I would probably pull Blue Moon out. No disrespect, but I would pull Blue Moon out, and I would put in Sorry Baby. I'm shocked that did not get in for original screenplay. It's honestly shocking, because it's so well done. And Ava Victor is, I believe is her name and stuff like that. She wrote it, starred in it, and directed it. It's a phenomenal film, and honestly, I'm shocked that it's not an original film. It's honestly kind of a crime. So all that stuff. I didn't think it was going to get in, but it would have been awesome if it would have got in. But was Weapons, all that stuff. So
Great.
I just I think
so original and creative.
Yeah, it's I'm honestly shocked that Weapons not shocked, but I really wanted Weapons to get in. So not shocked, because it is a stacked cast. And once again, I think I would put Sorry Baby before I put Weapons and stuff like that. But Weapons, I wouldn't have been shocked if that would have snuck in the 5. But as far as the original screenplay, I am going with Sinners. I think what Ryan Coogler did with that, and also just how much of the Jim Crow South, you have Irish culture, you have what happened to Irish when they were, from the British, and it just, and the Italian gangs and Irish gangs, and you take a gangster story and a horror film and all that stuff. It's just so much infused together that just blends perfectly together, and how he pulled that off is fantastic. So I definitely am going with Sinners. I think it should win on personally for me, but I do think the Academy is going to go, which I would not be upset with this, because like I said, you guys got to see this movie. It was just an accident. I could definitely see the Academy going with that and stuff like that. So, but yeah, as far as original screenplay, so Sinners.
Yep.
Sinners, all that stuff from us. But I do think the Academy, on my part, is going with It's Just an Accident. And did you say Sinners as well for the Academy?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And I should have watched it, but it was just an accident. I started watching it one day and ended up having to turn it off to do something else. And now I feel bad for not getting back to it.
Yeah, so it was, oh man. So, all right. So going into another stat category. Whew, man. Anyways, Best Adapted Screenplay is the next category we'll be covering. And the 5 nominees are Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. Is it me? Quotation wise?
It could be. Okay. It's me.
Okay, yeah. Take it away, Jess.
Alright, yes. I'm going with Frankenstein on this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just, it's been done before, but I would say arguably this is the best done one. And it's such a popular story, but this is probably the best retelling of it, in my opinion.
Alright. And then, Chad?
I'm going to go with Begonia. I think that's my pick, and I think it's going to be the Academy pick. But Yeah, it's hard to argue with any of them, especially since I made this list before I saw Train Dreams last night. So it doesn't change it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that one snuck in and got it. But I'm just going with Begonia for now.
All right. Before I get to the 5 nominees, here I go again. No other choice. Like, come on, man. Just like, the book acts or whatever. Like, come on, man. It's like Park Chan-wook. Come on, man. Like, I just get in there. And then also, I think a lot of people will kind of be shocked by this, but I honestly thought it was a great adapted book or whatever. And it sounds boring as shit, but when you watch the movie, it's just like, oh, wow, and all that stuff. Is The Long Walk, the Stephen King book.
Yeah. I'm surprised it didn't get any noms at all.
And I wouldn't have been shocked if that would have snuck in there, too, because I thought that was a very well done screenplay. And once again, it's just them walking. And that sounds very dismissive of what the actual movie and stuff like that is, but the context of the film, they're walking and stuff like that, and how you do that into the dialogue and how the actions and all that stuff to keep that locked on that one action that they're doing in the entire film is just, I thought it was a phenomenal work. So The Long Walk was another thing that I could have possibly seen sneaking in here at the 5. But as far as the 5, my second one is Begonia, because I think it was just so well done. The acting performances, how that was adapted before and all that stuff, and then to be remade, I just thought it was so well done. And I hope Will Tracy and Yorgos Lanthimos work together again, because the combination was great. Frankenstein, I'm glad to see that there, because like Jessica said before, how many freaking, it's like The Great Gatsby. Like, how many freaking times have we seen this adapted, this story and stuff like that? Now, I know there was a lot of backlash because Guillermo del Toro in his screenplay changed Victor Frankenstein a little bit and made him a dickhead. So it was just like
he probably was.
Yeah, he kind of is a dickhead.
And he went for that more like rock star Oppenheimer approach for Victor Frankenstein. And I think it worked. I loved it. And even Oscar's performance. And One Battle After Another, great adaptation and stuff like that. Train Dreams, we just got done gushing about that. It's a great adaptation of that as well. I'm going with Hamnet. I think it's kind of, I go back to the Zodiac, is what happens. Like, we know what happens. It's been around for hundreds of years that we know what happens in this adaptation of William Shakespeare. But how you crafted that screenplay to be so sucked in and just locked into that by Maggie O'Farrell and Chloe Zhao is just phenomenal work. I think Hamnet is my pick to win a Best Adapted Screenplay. I would love if Begonia upset it or whatever. I would love that. But I think the Academy is probably going to go with One Battle After Another. So, but yeah, it's a stat class too. Like I said, original screenplay is the same way. So I think it was that. But all right, cool. That's it for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so moving on from Best Adapted Screenplay, we are going into the meat and the potatoes. Here we go. We're going into Best Supporting Actress, and the nominees this year for Best Supporting Actress were Ellie Fanning in Sentimental Value, Inga Ipstadottir Lilius in Sentimental Value. So I'm just going to call her Inga. And then you have Amy Madigan in Weapons, Wunmi Masaku in Sinners, and then you have Tiana Taylor in One Battle After Another. I'll take this away right off the bat. So I think this is the category that, and I'll support my reason why too as well, is you got to rig the game somehow, is I think this is the category that they should have probably ran Chase Infinity in, because I know I've seen a lot of like backlash about Chase Infinity didn't make it the Best Actress, but who do you take out? Yeah, there is somebody I'd take out, all that stuff. Like, but anyways, I think
I know who you're gonna say.
Yeah, so but Chase Infinity wasn't even my next in line for best actress and stuff like that. So I think they should have ran her in Best Supporting Actress. Yes, she is every bit of the lead actress in that movie. But if you go back years ago, Christian Bale was every bit of the lead in The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg. But they ran him in Best Supporting Actor. Yeah. And he ended up winning the Oscar and stuff like that. So I think Chase Infinity would have had a better shot of winning the trophy and stuff like that, and getting a nomination if they would have ran her in Best Supporting Actress. Yes, I agree. I don't think she's a supporting actress in that film. I think she's the lead. But I think they should have ran Chase Infinity in this category. So all the backlash about Chase Infinity not making it in, guys, she's gonna get an Oscar nomination someday. Like, the talent on that girl is ridiculous. Amazing. So, but if anything, too, this is gonna blow her the F up. So it's just like she's got a great career ahead of her. But if they wanted Chase Infinity in there, I think they should have ran her in this category. But with the 5 nominees that are listed, very, very happy to see Inga from Sentimental Value, because she was personally one of my top 12 favorite performances of the year. She is incredible, and the Sentimental Value, and that's another one I think her career is about to blow up too, is because she's outstanding. Also, very happy to see Ellie Fanning from Sentimental Value getting in there as well, because I think it's well deserved. I think she is absolutely incredible in that. Wumney from Sinners, very happy about that, because we talked about, I think she is a very crucial key into that film, and if you go watch our breakdown of Sinners, you'll know why. And then, unpopular opinion, I think Tiana Taylor is very good in One Battle After Another. But there's also actresses, Chase Infinity example as well, that I would probably put over Tiana Taylor. Not in a disrespectful way. I just think there was other better performances over Tiana Taylor and stuff like that that I would put in there. Chase Infinity being one. I think if they would have ran her in there as well. But with that all the way, I think this is more of a want, because I think it'd just be so awesome. But I don't think it's going to happen at all. I want Amy Madigan to win in Weapons, because if we're going to judge this on how does the supporting actor make a statement in the film, how they explode on screen, are your eyeballs glued on the screen? There's so much elements to the supporting actress, or a supporting actor's role, is how you steal the show and stuff like that. And I think she checks all the boxes. Like, she is funny, she's terrifying, she's haunting, she just eats up the screen. I was glued every time that Gladys was on screen. When Gladys pops up on screen, I'm like, what the crap? You know, that stuff. So it has that grabbing factor. And I still cackle every time. Just a touch of consumption, you know?
I laughed so hard in the theater.
So, I mean, if we're going by supporting actor and what they're supposed to do, I think it's Amy Madigan all day. Me personally, I think she just makes a big splash, and I was so mad that people were like, I can't believe they gave her an Oscar. Dude, she steals the show. Like, what are we talking about here? I'm like, she absolutely deserves here. Not only on my personal end, I think she deserves to win. I'm like, she just kills it, man. But anyways, I'm going with Amy Madigan, but I think the Academy is going to go with Tiana Taylor from One Battle After Another. I would love for the happy upset to sneak in there would be Inga from Sentimental Value. I would be awesome if she gets it and stuff like that. But Jessica, what do you think?
I'm going with Wumney. I want her to win really bad.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She's like one of my favorite performances in the movie. I don't know. I don't even know if I can say that, because I love everybody in the movie, but she's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, we've been Wumney friends all the way back to all of Lovecraft Country, because that's where she we were first exposed to her, and you know, it's one of those things too, when you watch her, you're just like, oh, that actress got it, that actress has got it, and all that stuff. And then when she's performing in that TV show, I'm like, she's got it, you know, all that stuff. So she's gonna blow up. So she's fantastic. But anyway, sorry, Jessica.
No, yeah, I'm going with her. Happy upset would be Amy Madigan. I don't know, though. I feel like they don't ever like to give horror or anything, so I just anticipate being pissed off. So,
yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. Shout out to the Academy. You know, I poo-poo on them every single year about horror performances, and I'll give your credit where it's due now. It's a horror performance.
Sally Hawkins. I could see Sally Hawkins one. I wish she would have been, you know.
Yeah, I'll get to that, an actress. Yeah.
But I could see her as more of a supporting actress, because she's not necessarily the main character. Yeah. But she has a lot of screen time. But I will say, like, she's supporting the...
Yeah, well, that's what I mean with Chase Infinity. If they base it off screen time, yes. Chase Infinity is absolutely the lead actress of that film, based off screen time.
Yeah.
It's
Sally Hawkins would eat up this category.
But Christian Bale had more minutes than Mark Wahlberg in The Fighter, and they put him in supporting actor. So that's the reason why I say I think they should have ran Chase in there, because I honestly, if Chase was in here, I think she has a very strong chance of winning.
She was fucking terrifying though in that movie. Sally Hawkins was.
Yeah.
Like, which was just crazy because like she's not scary.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
But like
and she's so sweet and gentle and Paddington and Ship of Water, and then she comes in that, all that stuff. But anyway, sorry about Sally, but shout out to the Academy. You have 2 horror performances in here. You have Womney in Sinners, and you have Amy Madigan in Weapons. I'll give the credit where it's due. You nominated a horror performance. Way to go, Academy. Do more. So go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, darn right about that. But I want Amy Madigan to win just because I think she really, stole that show. And if you're, is she best supporting? Yes. So I think just from a movie structure standpoint, she is the best part of that, and she should definitely win. But I think either Elle or Inga from Sentimental Value may end up being the dark horse to win it. Thinking back on Elle's performance, how well she did, and especially that scene in the third act with her and Stellan when she's telling him, like, I think you made a mistake, I shouldn't be here. And I mean, it's just, oh my gosh, it's such a great scene. And then Inga, when she's with her sister in that third act and they're reading that script and their interactions and stuff, she was just phenomenal. So I'm okay with either one of them winning. I would love to see Amy win, and nothing against Woonmi, definitely, but those are my picks. Amy, and then probably more likely somebody from Sentimental Value.
Yeah, and if we want to talk about scenes that I think they should win for, we talked a little bit about the consumption scene that just cracks me up and all that stuff. But if you really want to, the movie, there's parts of Weapons where it gets really fun, and I know that's kind of shocking to say for Weapons as a horror movie, but it does get really fun and interesting, and like you're having some. But it comes to a screeching halt with Amy Madigan when she's like the parents at that dinner table, and she's like, I can make them eat each other, and you're just like, oh shit. So it's just like, it's so good. So but all right, so I'm going Amy, you're going Amy, and then you're going Womney. All right, but I think the Academy's going with Tiana. I would love it if they went with somebody from Sentimental Value. That'd be great. And then who'd you go with? Who do you think the Academy would?
I think they're going to go Womney.
Womney? Okay, all right. So moving on from Best Supporting Actress, we are going into the most stacked category. I think we've talked about it all year. I think it's all the way back to January when freaking everything was taken off. It's like the Best Supporting Actor class just kept stacking and stacking and stacking, and it just continued to do it throughout the year. And but in the Best Supporting Actor category, the 5 nominations a year were Benicio del Toro from One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo in Sinners, Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value. I have a lot to say, but I'll let you take it away, Jess.
So I wouldn't really be mad at anyone for winning this category.
Yeah.
I think that Jacob Elordi is going to win, but I would be very happy to see Delroy Lindo or Sean Penn win, because I feel like in any of these cases, it's like, is Jacob Elordi even the supporting actor? But like, yeah, I guess he is. Right. I think we're saying Oscar Isaacs is the main character.
Yeah. Okay,
so like his performance as, Frankenstein's monster creature was like really good. Yeah. Like you are really emotionally impacted by his performance. Delroy Lindo absolutely steals every second he's on screen in Sinners.
Yeah.
And then Sean Penn was just so fucking crazy in One Battle After Another. I would not be mad about that either. So I'm going with Jacob Elordi, but I really wouldn't be mad with any of those 3 options.
All right. And then you haven't seen Sentimental Value, right?
I haven't.
Okay, all right.
And then Benicio del Toro is also really good in One Battle After Another. I would put Sean Penn over Benicio del Toro, but like I wouldn't be mad about that either.
Yep. And Chad?
Yeah, I've got Delroy Lindo as my pick. I would love to see him win. Do I think he really will? Not really, but with what Jess was saying, any of them could win, definitely. So I'm going to stick with Delroy. I'd love for him to win it. Any of them could win, and I'm happy for him. But my pick for the Academy would be Stellan Skarsgård. I just think his performance in Sentimental Value is just so good. So any of them, yes. I'm going to say Delroy. I hope he pulls it out.
Yep. And then as far as, like I said, this being the stacked class of the stacked category, and just absolutely stacked and packed category of the Academy Awards going in this year is I could have possibly seen, once again, all 5 are deserving that got the final thing, but I could see Paul Mescal for Hamnet sneaking in there. I can see Miles Catton from Sinners sneaking in there. I can see Jack O'Connell from Sinners sneaking in there. Aidan Delbus from Begonia sneaking in there. And the list keeps going on and on. Now, I have a bone, but compliment to the Academy is Jacob Elordi for a monster performance and a horror performance as well is for Frankenstein. Awesome, because he does what he deserves. I think a lot of people really underestimate the physicality that he put into that role, and just like you have to come off as like an infant, like a child, and then it grows into this, proper speaking man and all that stuff. And it's so well done. It's a great performance. Benicio del Toro. And all, I need to stay on Jacob Elordi. But where the hell was the Academy last year? Because I think the performance is better than Jacob Elordi's. Where was your guys' nominations for a monster performance when Bill Skarsgård was in Nosferatu? It's like, come on, man, because he is so damn good in Nosferatu and all that stuff. So I digress. I compliment the Academy because they did do a monster performance with Frankenstein, but man, damn, where were you guys last year with Nosferatu? I'm like, Bill Skarsgård is just incredible in that role. But Benicio del Toro, Jessica and me, like, we crack up, because I crack up every time I watch it, and he's like, you've been drinking tonight, sir? And he's just a few small beers or whatever, and all that stuff, and he's sitting there dancing with a cop to show him that he's not carrying anything. It's phenomenally done. And it definitely deserves to be here. Sean Penn is out of his mind in the best way possible in that film. Stellan Skarsgård, a legend in the industry, but also just a legendary performance in that as well. And then Delroy Lindo, we talked about it before in our breakdown for Sinners, it was the car scene. It's like, he's awesome in every other scene, of course, but that car scene where he talks about his friend getting lynched in the train station, it's just, I was like, that's it. That's right there. And I guarantee that's a clip they play when they show the thing, because it has to be.
That sound design in that scene as well, where you are reliving it through, his auditory memory of what happened, it's just that's so good. He's amazing in that shot.
Yeah.
So good.
But no, I'm going with my personal pick. I think it should be Sean Penn. I think he is the strongest performance out of all these. For the reasons what he does in One Battle After Another, he is very uncomfortable. He's very scary. He's very comedic. He's very, like, every attribute of the tool belt that you do. And once again, Sean Penn, controversy aside, off screen and stuff like that, I have to go by the performance, and that I think that is the strongest performance in this category. But I do think the Academy is going to go with Stellan Skarsgård, which I would label as a happy upset, because he is a legend in the industry. To see Stellan Skarsgård win an Oscar would be awesome, and he is phenomenal in Sentimental Value. The happy upset as well in the dark horse would be Delroy Lindo. I think he would be great, and a great upset. And once again, Delroy Lindo, the legendary. Like, I love Delroy Lindo. He's the legend. He's the man. But this is his first Oscar nomination. That's insane. Insane. I'm just like, man, and he's the man. I'm just like, so it was just shocking to see that. But, and I do like Benicio del Toro being in here and stuff like that. Obviously, there's some people that I would have over Benicio del Toro, but I love Benicio del Toro, so I'm always going to smile seeing that guy do anything. So.
He had a good year for movies, Benicio did. So, props to him.
Yep. But all right, moving on from Best Supporting Actor, we are going into Best Actress. So this is the final four categories. So the 5 nominees for Best Actress this year were Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. We have Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue. Renfrey, yeah, hopefully I say that right, is for Sentimental Value. And then we have Emma Stone for Begonia, 7-time Oscar nominee. Emma Stone, it's awesome. So, anyways, so I'll let you take it away, Chad.
Alrighty, yeah, this was it's a weird category. I haven't seen a Song Sung Blue, but Kate Hudson popping in here is kind of a little bit of a strange one for me. I would probably put Julie Gardner over her in this category just because I love her performance in Weapons. Very, very weird, but anyways, to each their own. Academy has their reasoning behind whatever they do. But my pick, and I just finished watching this last night, was Rose Byrne, and If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
Uh-huh.
Holy crap! What a movie! What a performance by her! It was just, she just chewed up every single scene. It was, I would say, 90% of the images in this movie are Rose. Her face, her, breakdown. I mean, it was just so good. And it's sad because the Renate Rins Sentimental Value performance is next level, and I think she will win. I really think that she will win the category, but my pick is Rose Byrne. It is an amazing, once in a lifetime performance for her. Honestly, it's just, it is so good and so heartbreaking. Oh man, just a killer performance. But that being said, if Emma Stone got the nod for Begonia, I wouldn't be sad about it. But I'm going to say Rose. I think Renate probably from the Academy, and then Emma would be a happy, hey, that's pretty cool. But that's it. That's my Best Actress.
All right, and Jess?
I haven't seen most of these, but I think that Emma Stone, or I've heard a lot about Jessie Buckley and Hamnet, so I think that either one of those would be who's probably going to win.
Yep. And then before I give my pick of the 5 is this was the category 2. I think you take out Kate Hudson, and actually there's multiple people I would put over Kate Hudson. I'm like, and no disrespect, because I like Kate Hudson and stuff like that. I just this kind of feels like the Jamie Lee Curtis of this year or whatever.
Yeah.
I just I hope it's not like she wins, because that peed me off. But anyways, the
Chase in there, Chase Infinity in there.
Yeah, that was the
in there.
Chase Infinity being there. But the one I would take out of Kate Hudson and put over Chase Infinity as well, Sally Hawkins, and bring her back.
Oh, yeah,
I think,
you're right.
I think Sally Hawkins was absolutely outstanding in that movie. And once again, I know horror performances are getting some love this year and stuff like that, but that's one that definitely needed to be loved, because like I said, I love Amy Madigan in Weapons. She is phenomenal. We've just talked about her and stuff like that, but I actually had Sally just a little bit over Amy Madigan in my favorite performances of the year, because Sally Hawkins is just unrecognizable in the type of thing she says like that. Yeah, she is a very experienced actress and stuff like that, but she was unrecognizable of like the type of role that she would ever take and stuff like that. So I loved her in that. Right. But out of the 5 that are presented, I do love Emma Stone. Congratulations to Emma Stone too, because I thought that when I did the Begonia breakdown, I'm like, she is one of the best actresses, if not the best actress working today. She is phenomenal. And everybody was like, 7 Oscar nominations and she's only 37. I'm like, she is the shit. She's very good. She's awesome and well deserved, and I hate the backlash. We talked about this before too. I hate when people are like, "Well, she's already got 7 nominees, so why don't they give it to somebody else?" So you're gonna tell Michael Jordan you already had 7 championships. Why don't you give it to somebody else and all that stuff? You think like it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, you have the Chiefs. It's like, well, you already got a Super Bowl, so why don't you let somebody else? Like, what are we talking about here? If we're talking about the best performances of the year, she is the best of the year, and it's no debates. She is the best actress working today, and congratulate Emma Stone because she is damn good in Begonia. So, I'm going with Jessie Buckley from Hamnet. I think she is gonna she's been dominating the awards circuit, and I think it's just gonna continue. I think she is outstanding in Hamnet, and I walked out. Leia Myron was my favorite performance of the year from Ugly Stepsister. That was my favorite performance.
Ugly Stepsister.
But I knew not in a million years were the Academy going to give it to it. Like, it sucked too because I think she is outstanding. And Ugly Stepsister.
She was phenomenal in it.
But Jessie Buckley is my second favorite. I'm just like, holy crap! I'm like, it just. I was literally at a certain point. I'm like, do I give her the number 1 spot? Because break it down more and more. I'm like, holy crap! But I can't wait to see her in The Bride because that looks like a very interesting take on the Frankenstein story and the Bride of Frankenstein. But I can't wait to see it because she's lights out in Hamnet. So, and I do think the Academy is going to go with Jessie Buckley as well. So, but that's who I had at Best Actress. So,
nice.
You say something? Oh, okay. All right, so moving on from Best Actress, we're going to the last 3 categories here, and that is the category of Best Actor. So here we go. Timothy Chalamet from Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio from One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke from Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan from Sinners, and Wagner Moura from The Secret Agent. And I will take this. This is the category that I was my biggest snub, my biggest heartbreak, my biggest, he needs to be one of the 5. Somebody's got to go, all that stuff. I think the 3 dogs that are the top competing right now, I would say it was Timothy, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Michael B. Jordan is the 3 that will stay. Wagner or Ethan Hawke, you could swap this out. Somebody's got to go because Jesse Plemons needs to be in this category for Begonia. It is heartbreaking that they did not give him the nomination. He is out of this world good in Begonia. I was very heartbroken, like a little pissed off too that they didn't give it to Jesse because he is outstanding and one of the best working today. But and then also too, I could see somebody that's sneaking in here would be Lee Young Hun from No Other Choice. That was another one that I could possibly see sneaking in here as well. But out of the final 5, I'm going with Michael B. Jordan. He was my favorite performance by an actor of the year. The different body motions and how he walks, how he talks, the accents, everything else from Smoke and Stack, even in the way they both had swagger to themselves, but also it was more. Stack was more collected and upright and stuff like that, and very Stonewall and all that stuff. And then you have Stack is more hyperactive and having a good time. He's like, all that stuff, smiling all the time. So it was just 2 completely different sides of the coins of these characters you have to play, but it's done by the same guy. And I just think he was just lights out this year. And without a doubt, Michael B. Jordan's best performance of his career so far and all that stuff. But I'm going with Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. I think he was the best performance of the year by an actor. And then, but I do think the Academy is going to go with Timothy Chalamet, which I would have no problem with because Timothy Chalamet is just exceptional and Marty Supreme. Yeah, he's not a likable character and all that stuff, but that's not the point. It's about the performance. It's, do they perform the thing? And once again, Timothy Chalamet, like it or love it or hate it or whatever, he's one of the greatest actors working today, and he's going to have an Oscar on his mantle. That could possibly be this year. I think the Academy is going to go with it and stuff like that. But this will not be the last time we see Timothy Chalamet. Same thing with Michael B. Jordan. I don't think this is the last time we'll see him being nominated as well. But he is one of the greatest actors working today, man. The dude's got it and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Academy, he's walking away with his Oscar and stuff like that. But I'm going with Michael B. Jordan. So, Jess, who you going with?
I'm going with Michael B. Jordan as well. I really want to see him win because I feel like he absolutely deserves it. Like everything you said, he plays two very different, distinct characters, and he's very believable as both characters. Like, he absolutely dominates, in my opinion, this category and the movie. Like, I just can't even imagine anyone doing as well as he did in the situation. I do think I'm worried that the Academy...
Worried.
I'm worried. I think that the Academy's going to go with... I could see them going with either Leonardo DiCaprio or Timothée Chalamet. I'm just like... I don't know. I love Leo. I'm not really a big Timothée Chalamet fan. So I could see it happening, and I'm probably not going to be very happy about it if it does, in fact, happen.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yep. And Chad?
Yeah, the same. I'm going with Michael B. Jordan. I think he had the best performance of the year for sure. Played two distinctly different characters, played them very well, and he was a vampire at times. It's just like, come on, that's pretty good. And then I agree. I'm worried that it'll be Timothée Chalamet with the win. I hope it's Michael B. Jordan. I don't think they're going to go Leo on this one. It's a fine enough performance, and it deserved to be in the category, but it's not. To me, it's not Michael B. and it's not Timothy. So, yeah. He's number 3 on my list. So I would hope that they see that as well. So Michael B. Jordan for the win.
Yeah, and I know we're going back to like screen time and stuff like that, but in some cases, I always felt like in some angles, I get it that screen time, he is the lead of screen time. I'm trying to keep that keyword in there, is he would be counted as the lead actor or something like that. But honestly, it felt like Leo was like in a supporting role more than Chase
I agree.
Trinity.
And maybe not supporting for another like male cast member, but he definitely felt like a supporting cast.
Yeah.
I can't say another person one battle after another got more screen time, but I always felt like he was just there to make the other ones look good and push the story along. Not that he was.
I always forget just how freaking funny Leonardo DiCaprio is.
Yeah, he's great.
He has great comedic timing. Like, he can do anything. He can be like, like actiony, like dramatic roles. He's also very funny.
Yeah. And
he can't remember passwords though. That's one thing he can't do.
He's like, dude, I smoked a lot of weed today. I'm like, I don't know, man. It was 20 years ago.
Even like physically, he's like running through there, and he's like really funny.
When he falls off that roof, I lose it. I'm like, what an idiot. I'm like, you just fell off the roof.
Him running, holding that bag of stuff in his arms. He's all hunched over. He's kind of just running through the alleyways and stuff. It's just, it's so good. It just physically, just this broken down dude that just is trying to survive, and it's
he's
good.
just trying to be a really good dad.
Great performance.
Yeah, and then the big thing to Timothée Chalamet too is just like I even thought last year when he played Bob Dylan, I'm like, he's shown the range, the accents, the physicality and stuff like that. Like I said, I think he is one of the best working today, and everything he pulls off in Marty Supreme, he's just so funny. You want to punch him in the face. There's moments too where, not overall moments, but there's moments where you want to root for him, but you're just like, he's a piece of shit too. So it's just like, it's a very fine line that he tiptoes on. He does an incredible job at that too as well. So, but yeah, I think the Academy may go with Timothée Chalamet. I do want Michael B. Jordan to win. I think he was the best performer, just the personal angle and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens and stuff like that. But once again, even if Timothée Chalamet doesn't win this year, he will have an Oscar on his mantle. He's just he's just that good and stuff like that. So, but I do hope it goes to Michael B. Jordan this year. So going on from Best Actor, we're going in our final 2 here. And we're going into Best Director. All right, so coming in, we have the 5 nominees. We have Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. We have Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. We have Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. We have Joachim Trier I know Trier is the thing. I'm just it's Trier, but Sentimental Value, and then we have Ryan Coogler for Sinners. So Jessica, I'll let you take this away because I have a lot to say about this.
So, unpopular / maybe popular opinion. I don't believe that the best picture and the best director should go to 2 different films, because if you have the best film, you can't really achieve that without having the best director. So, that being said, obviously, I think Sinners is the best film of the year. Therefore, I think Ryan Coogler is the best director of the year.
Yeah. Or you always got to be wary of that, though, because Argo, Ben Affleck, won Best Picture, but the dude didn't even get a nomination.
Stupid. It's dumb. I don't understand how you could make that mental jump in your brain.
Yeah.
Why you would think that the best film would not have the best director. Like, how would that even happen? Anyway, yeah, Ryan Coogler, like, he's a young guy. Like, he's probably got a lot more films coming, like, that are gonna, cement his, legacy. But he is excellent. Like, the story is wonderful. He executed it perfectly, in my opinion. I wouldn't change anything about it.
Yeah. All right, Chet.
Oh yeah, no, I love what you're saying, and I agree. I think Ryan Coogler is best director because I also have Sinners is my best picture for the year, but yeah, it just I don't see how you can't draw that parallel between them. But I've got Ryan Coogler, but I also I picked Joaquin as the kind of my Academy pick, but I think Ryan should win it.
Yeah. Before I give my pick, this was another category too that I could see. I would probably the person I would take out would probably be Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, even though he directs the shit out of that movie. I would probably take him out, and I could have possibly seen squeaking in here would be Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein. I could possibly be sneaking there. I don't personally think he would have gotten the final 5, even though I love Frankenstein. But Guillermo del Toro is one that could possibly have snuck in there. And then Park Chan-wook. Like, come on, man. Like, I just don't get it. Stuff. But no, the one I would take Josh Safdie out for Marty Supreme, even though, no disrespect, because I think Marty Supreme is freaking phenomenally directed. It's just controlled chaos, the opening minute to the final minute. But the other one that is controlled chaos and just banana sandwich of the thing is Jafar Panahi, and hopefully I said that right. And he was the director for It Was Just an Accident. And this is the thing I was going to tell you, the crazy thing about Jafar and the director of this film. He is going to jail for 1 year for this movie. He has been charged with propaganda against the system from the Iranian government for making this film. He is literally going to jail for making this film. It is just insane. And you ever want the definition of resistance and the most badass resistance, and you want an example, it's him making this film and stuff like that. It is a very important film, a film that needed to be made, and it has a lot to say, if that's just anything, even to the point where his own government is putting him in jail for a year for propaganda against the system. It is insane, and I think he should have got an Oscar nomination for this film, for Best Director, because he directs the shit out of this film and has a lot to say just alone by the statement I just gave you and stuff like that. But out of the 5 and stuff like that, not original at all from you two. My personal pick is Ryan Coogler for Sinners. He was my favorite director of the year. Many aspects. We've talked about it before, going back to the screenplay. If just everything's perfect. I think he just pulls it off, and I think he directs the shit out of that. And if you want to listen to more details about that, obviously listen to our 4-hour breakdown of Sinners. I think it should go to Ryan Coogler, but I do think the Academy is going to go with Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. I have no problem with it. I wouldn't call it a happy upset because I do want Coogler to win this and stuff like that. But I love Paul Thomas Anderson. I love the filmmaking of that film. I have no problem with him winning the Oscar. And plus legacy, reasons why too. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. Dude doesn't have a freaking Oscar. All that stuff. So I could see the Academy going with Paul Thomas Anderson. If there was a sneaky upset and all that stuff, and reasonably so, I could see Chloe Zhao sneaking in there for Hamnet. But I definitely think the 1-2 battle right now is Ryan Coogler and Paul Thomas Anderson. I think it's gonna, and that's the reason why I wanted to record this podcast before the awards ceremony came out. So I like to get ahead of like the SAG awards and the DGA and things like that, because that'll give you an idea of most likely who's going to win, stuff like that. So I want to get our picks out there before that happens. But it all really, and it's changed in the past. I just gave the Ben Affleck example. Ben Affleck won the DGA for Best Director. It's the same guys that vote for who's going to be the nominees for the director category at the Oscars. He won the DGA, but didn't even give a nomination at the Oscars. But besides that example and stuff like that, it's very rare that if you win the DGA, you're most likely going to be winning the Oscar and stuff like that. So I think it comes down to whoever wins the Director Guild Awards is going to be the winner at the Academy Awards and stuff like that. But I personally think it should be Ryan Coogler. But I do think the Academy is going to go with Paul Thomas Anderson. But all right, so here we go, guys. Drum roll. We're going into Best Picture. All right, so it is possible to get 10 nominees. That is the limit and all that stuff. And we actually did get a full 10 this year. So the nominations for Best Picture, the 10 are Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sinners, and Train Dreams. And then also, did I say Sentimental Value? Sorry, did I skip over that?
Maybe.
I thought you said it.
Okay, maybe I did say it. But Sentimental Value is in there as well. So that is the 10. All right, so Jessica, who is walking away with Best Picture of the Year?
Sinners, obviously. Better be. I don't know. Almost all my favorite movies of the year made it on here. I did really like Weapons, but that didn't get nominated, obviously.
Yeah.
I would go with Sinners, and I think it's gonna win. But if it doesn't win, then the next would probably be One Battle After Another.
Okay. All right, Chad. Who's walking away with Best Picture this year?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've got Sinners on my list. I hope that's who gets it, but I could also see Sentimental Value pulling it out. So that's what I have. Sinners and then Sentimental Value.
All right.
We shall see.
All right, and then if there was one film, there was actually two films I think could have snuck in here, and the one film I would pull out would be F1. No disrespect to F1 and stuff like that, but I would pull that out. But I think No Other Choice could have snuck in here as well. I've been splooging about that the whole freaking time, and then even over No Other Choice, because I just gave the importance of the film. I think It Was Just an Accident should definitely be in the top 10. I think I think it was one of the best films made this year and stuff like that. A very important film, and if we're the best of the best, if we're putting that in Best Picture, It Was Just an Accident should definitely be in here. Very, very happy, because it deserves to be here, is Begonia. I was very happy to see that here. I was very happy to see Frankenstein. Super happy to see Hamnet, obviously, because it's one of the best pictures of the year. Marty Supreme being in there makes sense. One Battle After Another in there, it totally makes sense. The Secret Agent, haven't seen it yet, but heard glorious things. Sentimental Value, very happy that made it. And Train Dreams, I am very happy that Train Dreams made it in the Best Picture, because it's a very well-made film, well acted, well edited. It's got everything for a best, checking all the boxes for a Best Picture nomination, and it totally deserves to be there. It is one of the best films of the year, so I was very happy that Train Dreams is in there. So, but now with that, there was no other film that was better edited, cinematography, acted, production design. Nothing was more perfectly fused together, and every single aspect of a Best Picture is it checks all the boxes and more is Sinners. I think Sinners is the best Picture of the Year. That's my personal pick. I think it's Sinners all the way. It was not only my #1 film of the year, but I think this film is going to be last for the years to come. I think it's it's one of those things, and I think it absolutely deserves to win. And how awesome would it be if a horror movie won for Best Picture? So
it's happened before.
Yeah. One Silence of the Lambs and all that stuff is just, but it's been too long, and it needs to be more, because the horror genre has a lot to say. They have voices and things like that, and Ryan Coogler and company has created something very special here, and I think no other films gave me more goosebumps. The music, everything. I think it's perfect from beginning to end. So, and every single frame is perfect. But I think the Academy is going to go with One Battle After Another. I think they are. I don't have any problems with that. Like I said, I think it's a very well made film. It's just not better than Sinners, me personally. So it's just I could see the Academy going with One Battle After Another. And once again, Jessica got to it as well. Is if it's Best Director, whoever wins the Oscar for Best Director, it's literally like you have a 98.2% chance the Best Picture is going to be the winner, whoever wins Best Director and stuff like that. So I hope it's Sinners, but I think the Academy is going to go with One Battle After Another. So that's it, guys. That was what we had and stuff. But I'm losing my voice, so this is a perfect time to close this bad boy out. I want to thank you both. Thank you for doing this. It'd be your 10th time, Jess and Chad. Thank you so much for your first time doing the Oscar picks.
Awesome.
But once again, I want to hear everybody's comments and things. Show me your brackets. I call it the little Academy brackets or whatever. Everybody submit their brackets. Tell me what you're going to think is going to win. And like I said, the Oscars don't matter to a certain point and stuff like that. If it's your favorite film, it doesn't matter if it gets an award. It doesn't get an award. That's your favorite film at the end of the day. That's great. But just have fun with it, guys. It's about the celebration of film. And when it comes to the night, I know we have an awesome music performances happening. I'm so excited to see I Lied to You live. I'm just like jumping up and down to see that. But just know, like I said, as movie nerds, we all come together to celebrate the night of film, and that's what the Academy Awards is supposed to be. So the 98th Academy Awards premieres are March 15th, 2026. So make sure you check it out. And once again, make sure you comment below in your brackets and stuff like that, and then obviously we'll do the difference and see how many you got right when it comes to Academy Award night and how many you got wrong and all that stuff. So just have fun with it, guys. But as always, guys, make sure you show this film some love. Give a thumbs up, like. Thank you once again to Jessica and Chad Eversole for joining me for this. And that was who we had, our winner picks for the 98th Academy Awards. And as always, guys, I know it's a very scary time. I love talking about films and stuff like that, but I'm not oblivious of the scary times it is in the world today. And I always close my podcast episodes by saying, take care of yourself and take care of each other. I really mean that, guys. We're all on this planet together. We're all one. It doesn't matter what color, race, country, or anything like that. We're all one race, and that's called the human race. And as always, guys, I know movies in a bubble and stuff like that, and I'm not oblivious to the real world. We do this for fun, and I love everybody I've met in the movie community and everybody that comes together, because that's the reason why I think films are so special. And especially going to the cinema to see films, is you come into a cinema as one. It doesn't matter what your color, what your race is, if you're Republican, Democrat, whatever political views you have, you all sit into a theater as one and you enjoy a film together. I think that is the most beautiful thing to do, and that's what cinema brings as human beings and stuff. But seriously, guys, as always, take care of yourself and take care of each other. And we'll see you later, movie nerds.